Hello, I'm Eagle, Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram, and this is fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 626. Hopefully, you guys have had an amazing Thursday. I've had a pretty good day myself. This will be a fun one. Uh, Dank Yoda's in the house. Mr. Dank Yoda, how you doing, my friend? You want to tell everybody how you're doing and where they can find you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Like I said, last couple days been kind of crap. But me on Instagram, also known as Yoda Grows, but I stupidly didn't search him before making it, so that's why Dank Yoda. Right now it's just the Instagram, no Twitter, nothing else like that. So pretty low key, chill. Got a lot of stuff going on right now. I got some pictures I'm going to be posting tonight. Just went downstairs right before this. Rushed through my chores as fast as possible. Get a whole bunch of cool pictures in the dark. So, got some.
Oh, he said it may happen. See, one thing about Mr. Dank Yoda, and you guys may notice from myself, is he's very close to me. So internet problem will could be a problem. We were laughing about that as I warned him pre-show. I was like, well, I'm going over the prelims. This could happen. I may fall out. You know the deal. If you can run with it. You may not. But he's like, hey, let me remind you, Chief, I'm not far from you, so I have shitty internet as well. If I fall out, no, I will be right back as well. So just give her a minute or two. We'll hang out. Go ahead and say hello to everybody. Make sure your chat is to Chop Chat, which mine or live chat, which mine was not. Ill Jester, Resurrection Prophet, Catherine, the Cannabis Contour. Cheers. Nice to see you. JGS, sorry about that. Cheers. Miss Cassativa, always a pleasure. Laura Camp, Brent Anderson, of course, Mr. Smiley's Gardens, much respect. Here comes the Yoda. Cheers. Thank you, Smiley, for throwing that up, man. I need to finish my stuff here. What up, Yoda? I was just giggling. You've
Oh,
got me giggling already.
right. I think I got it figured out now,
So
though.
it happens. I think they know it's a possibility around here. So I think everybody understands.
Oh, yeah, it's the joys of living out. Like you get beautiful sunrises and sunsets. You can't talk to nobody online.
Oh no. Man, I remember, I can before we get started on your story, I'll tell you a little story real quick. Before I moved up here, I actually come up here and was doing some siding work and couldn't get no internet, not laptop, not phone, fucking nothing. Swore up and down. I was like, oh no, man, this sucks, man. I don't know. I don't know how anybody could live up here. And then I fucking moved up here and then drove around and went, ah shit, there's all those cabins. I I didn't know I just moved up here. Shit. So
Well, that's like
yeah.
me, man.
Well,
I grew up in Saginaw, so everything was always higher speed. Even the frame of living was higher speed. And then I just ended up going in the sticks. My mom moved way out in the boonies. I was like, this sucks. Got older, hanging out with my friends more in Saginaw. And now I'm older. I'm like, okay, now I understand it. Slow down, go back out in the boonies. Every once in a while, I just got to take off my shoes, walk in my yard, go out in the woods and just ground myself and chill. So I can't do city
it
living no
definitely
more.
there's definitely an acclimation period to moving from the city up here. It takes, a little bit of time to get used to things. But when you do, man, just like you said, man, you know you're home, to be honest with you. So what are you smoking on, Mr. Yoda?
Right now I'm actually smoking on some wedding cake that my neighbor gave me. So he come over, seeing me working in the yard. I want to talk to you about some shit. I was like, all right. Started shooting the shit to me about stuff he's planning outdoor and wanting to set up indoor. And he's like, well, I'm gonna give you some of this stuff that I should know what you think. I'm like, all right, whatever. Not too bad.
There's a lot of good growers up here, that's for sure.
It's so vast, and like working at the shop for as long as I did was kind of cool because I got to see how many different variations out there. Like people are actually into doing it right, where they're like, okay, what do I absolutely need? And then you get the other guys who are like, I'm just gonna throw it in some Miracle Grow and color good. I love the vast variety. However, I feel my life is like vast variety when I grow. I love organics, but I have absolutely no problem. Like right now, I'm running Floraflex and Cutting Edge. I got no problem with any of the other stuff as long as it gives me a good product that I'm happy with. So that's what I told everybody that came in the shop. As long as you're happy with it, it doesn't matter. At least in my head. I know a lot of people might argue the fact, some form of fertilizers will leave more in the plant. Yes. And if you plan for it, you can work with it instead of against it.
I agree. I don't think one's better than the other. I agree with you. If you're happy with it, then be happy with it.
Well, that's like I was laughing so hard the other night when you were getting called out about your organics. I was like, at least he's growing still, man. Just give him that.
Right on. Right on. Oh man. Yeah, you have to be growing something, man. I definitely I'm nervous already, Yoda. I'm already nervous. By the way, before I forget, I want to give you some props, man. I was at the local Walmart, Walmart, and I happened to know a few people in there. And when I stopped in there the other day, one of the gentlemen I was talking to was bummed out that his local shop closed. And I was like, yeah, I was just talking to that cat the other day. And he was like, man, I know who you're talking about. That dude's awesome, man. A lot of good advice from him, man. Like, I'm sure he'll be glad to hear that, man. In fact, I told him you'd be on. So hopefully he's watching.
Hey, maybe. I mean, it's what I told everybody that came in there. It's like information should be free. You always have problems when you hold back information. It's like, no, I know this, but I'm only going to sell it to you for $1. Fuck that. $1. Go to hell. Information should be free. That's how we're going to gain peace everywhere. And the thing is, I like helping people. So when I figure out, my OCD kind of works weird, where they come in, tell me the route that they think they want to go. And I have the ability, because I've nerded out so long, that I can tell them a couple different directions at a couple different advancements that they could go and get good results. Tell them, like, if you really want to go advanced and go crazy, it's here. And most people accepted that and loved it. My greatest review, and I think it was,
love it. Love it. He's back.
We're gonna
You're
do
back.
this.
You're back.
Anyway, so the greatest review I ever had there and it wasn't even somebody said to my face, is I was looking at the Google reviews, just bored because I get a laugh out of them. And somebody said, strange employees, but great shop. And I loved that guy. The next time he came in, I was like, dude, I love that. Because we are a little weird, but whatever.
There's nothing wrong with being weird. I think it's a good personality trait myself. But one thing I always appreciated about you, amongst many, well, I think you know how I felt about some of the others, but I appreciated about you is you were always honest about any questions I or others had. And by that I mean you were honest, just straight up honest. It may your answer may not have always benefited, you know what I mean, the greater good of the store. But in my opinion, that's what you guys were there for, is to kind of point people in the right direction. And good or bad, you always gave the honest answer. You know, it may not have been cost effective for the higher ups, but it was always appreciated by the people coming in.
Well, and that's the funny thing is, it's not even that it was, you know, bad for the company or anything. Most people respect honesty. And that's the funny thing. You're one of the few people that are actually like, oh, I love him because he was honest, even if I didn't want to hear it. Most of the time it's, fuck that little ginger midget. But no, it's when I started back in like 2013-ish, didn't have all the stores. Most of the stores that I went into, I was like, dude, I don't really know what I'm doing. You know, help me out. And they're like, oh, you want this. Like, that's like $700 damn dollars. Like, what the hell? Like, got to be a little bit better way. And they wouldn't budge. You know, it's always, oh, you got to get top of line. It's not that I'm that cheap. I just will never start with top of the line stuff. And I hated it. I always felt like I was pressured into this way or that way. And it just wasn't a cool thing. Now, my buddy who actually mentored me started a shop in Hemlock. And it was so cool hanging out with him because he would actually walk me through most of the little products. Like, all right, this is why you need this. This is why you need this. And it felt like such a
bear with it. This is going to be a fun one, but trust me, Mr. Yoda is worth it. Are you there, Yoda?
Sorry, my internet has a speech impediment.
At least you have a sense of humor about it.
I got to, man. I try making everybody laugh as much as I can because it keeps me in high spirits and it keeps me going. If I don't, it's garbage. But I mean, we all get down in those dumps. I try my best to stay out of those dumps because I don't like them.
Right on. So
anyway,
I guess we should, before we get going, before we cross, if we get too much into whatever, we may cross the story at some point. You know what I mean? From the beginning to the end.
Right.
So we might as well start from the beginning. When and where, how did cannabis come into your life?
Well, I want to say 13 or 14. And here's the interesting part of the story. And I'm sure some of the people in the YouTube are going to know. Oh, yep. I know exactly what he's talking about. I smoked like 8 different times with buddies. Could not get high. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I'm feeling it. Whatever. You know, this stupid teenage kid shit. I feel really hot. And I'm like, I don't feel nothing. Like, I feel normal. What the hell? Get it again. Get some more. You know, 8 different times. And finally, somebody overheard me talking to my friends in a coffee shop of all places, goes, going for a ride. Jump in the car. There was 6 people in the van. It was one of those bigger, you know, almost a handicap van. Hotbox that van for 4 fucking hours. Finally got high. I was probably 14. I walked into my grandma's house and I kept blacking out missing periods of this conversation and everything. So I'm standing at the bottom of my stairs, freaking out because first time I'm high, and basically just dropped off my grandma's house going, okay, good luck. I'm at the bottom of the stairs, then I'm at the top of the stairs, and then I'm at the bottom of the stairs again. My grandma's looking at me going, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. She goes, you look hungry. I was like, oh, I love you, Grandma. Every time I got stoned, it was at Grandma's house. But back then in Saginaw, I didn't have the names and the connections that, you know, a lot of the other people did. So it was basically just what one or two plugs could have. And, oh God, that was back late 90s, early 2000s or whatever it lines up to. And every once in a while, the plug would get a really good flavorful thing and it would pique my interest going, oh, this is awesome. What the hell? But then it would go away. So now we call it Mexican brickweed. That's what everybody knew it as. So it really just, it was disappointing because every time I got good stuff, it would spark my interest and I'd want more and, you know, try doing anything with it if it had any seeds to it, or well, everything had seeds to it, but I never really got the chance because I didn't get it as often. So, and then when we did, it didn't have too many seeds. So, but when I first started growing, my ex-wife became a cannabis patient. I became her caregiver in 2013, the end of 2012. So we both got our cards, got all legal. I was doing the whole OCD thing, researching, figuring out what I got to do, you know, what equipment do I need, you know, how do I set up my basement? Just overthinking the entire damn thing. So it took longer to get the first plant in the house than I care to admit. But at the time, I'm doing cable. So I go into this guy's house and he goes, all right, you can't go in this room. I was like, I need in that room. That's where everything is. You set up poorly. And he goes, all right, well, screw it. I'll let you in. I'm like, dude, you don't got to worry about it. I have a caregiver card, you know, don't care. Sitting there, hooked up his cable, looking around. He's like, well, how about you do this, this, and this, you know, for a couple of my clones? I was like, oh, bet we could do that. So I did a little bit of cable work for him, and he ended up giving me a blue cheese, a Great Kush, and I want to say a White Widow. But I don't know. The third one died off. I ended up killing it. So I got this, take him back to the house, put him in this closet with this tiny little fluorescent light that's not doing diddly dick. No ventilation, nothing else. Freaking out, calling up my buddy who ended up being my mentor. And I was like, all right, man, you got to walk me through this. Ended up with a bunch of T5s in my basement, high pressure sodiums. And it's been obsession ever since. So when I started going and really figuring out what I was getting into, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to, you know, set everything up to my personal touch, my mentor would be talking about super soil. And Eagle, guess who he was talking about?
Sub.
Oh, yeah. So I heard his name that early in a row, and it didn't click. Like, okay, this is an organic thing. I never really thought about organics. I'm running General Hydroponics 3-part, Floralicious Plus, you know, still trying to figure it all out. And then my buddy's getting alfalfa meal, kelp meal, blood meal, mixing up in his basement. I go over there every once in a while, help him out, mix soil, feel everything cooking. And we sit there and talk. And I'm like, really? So you don't have to do nothing? It just water only kind of thing? And he's like, yeah. Huh. Well, that's really interesting. So I had to take a little bit of a break from growing from like 2015 to maybe 2017. And the entire time I was taking this break, I was like, in the back of my head, there's that way, the organics way, the organics way. I was like, So I've been researching organics and writing down all this information to retain, because my learning style is basically sit there with a damn comp book, remember, write down key points that you want to remember, and then look at it later. That's the only way I can remember shit. But I'm writing down all these organics, and that has become an obsession. Like, once I finally get to do whatever I want to do with organics, it's hopefully going to be amazing. But I have not reached that threshold yet, other than some outdoor living beds that I've turned all my old soil into, thrown some amendments in, top dress with this, that, or the other thing. And they do okay, but I've never actually tried cannabis in them yet. So, but yeah, I find that funny that I heard Subcool's name back then, and I started researching it, trying to watch his show every time I could. And then I meet you at the store. So
It's weird how things tend to fall together sometimes, for sure. So, how long would I would say between the first time and the grow, and would you instantly consider it? I guess would you consider it recreational, or would you say that you kind of knew there was something special about what you were doing at that point?
Well, because like I said, is when I got older, like closer to the time where I started growing, I started accessing better stuff. Like, before that, it was literally whatever my guy had, and it was still really not that great. So I didn't have huge expectations, because unfortunately, I never really understood connoisseur quality cannabis until I started growing and really started tweaking everything, because I realized, okay, just by doing this came out, a little off, a little harsher, that kind of thing. And by realizing that, I don't really think I've set a limit of what I think top notch is yet. But my first run, I'm smoking, and it was smoother than the rest.
I like these fun times to say cheers to everybody in chat. Cheers, Bingus. Squirrel.
We're working with what we got, man. We're running on off-dated software. But anyway, so the first complete run that I had, I was working at a golf course. Everybody smokes at the golf course. If you ever go to a golf course and you don't know what to do, give the guy a joint. But so my buddies that were sitting there cutting, lawns and everything else, all got to try my stuff, because I'm one of those guys that I love creating, and I love people sharing my creations. If I can make something and let you enjoy it with me, I will do it in a heartbeat. So I'm not making money off it, Sorry. Needed fire. So I wasn't making money off it, and they kept coming back going, dude, this is amazing. What the hell? I was like, I don't know. I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing yet. So it really just sparked a curiosity of what can you really do? And like I said, I've just been nerding out ever since.
Very easy to do. That's very easy to do. It's one of the things I've never really understood, the stereotype that comes with cannabis, because I've never seen any of it to be true. The lazy stoner, most days that's just it. How before even like back in the day, you know what I mean? Before
Right.
growing all that other bullshit, safety meetings before fucking work, during work, you know what I mean? Shit got done. shit got done. And even
Mm-hmm.
later in life, more so when fucking uh growing cannabis came into play, it didn't do anything but enrich my life. You know what I mean? And I found that across the board, it makes people, want to learn about more about what they're doing. And as them doors open, it opens other doors, about how they relate to you, proper stewardship, all kinds of good stuff come out of learning, how to grow cannabis. Uh, it's crazy. It's been dogs so many years.
Cannabis started so much with me because once I started growing cannabis, I was sitting outside one day and just smoking, thinking about the next thing I was going to do in my garden. And I'm looking out at an open spot going, well, why the hell don't I have tomatoes going there? You're learning how to grow plants. Why not have tomato sandwiches every once in a while? Why not some corn for the kids? And it opened so much with that. And then that opened up, well, what are you actually putting into your body? And I'm ashamed of myself because I put too much stuff that I hate in my body, nicotine, but it really brings it to perspective. When you care about the things that you're growing, you're going to care about what goes into it, and you're going to care about how it functions. And once you care about something that's living, it opens up an entire different way of thinking. So I like to think of hippie lifestyle was the best one. They just pissed them off too much and they disappeared a little bit.
That may be. That may be. That's for sure. They're definitely making a comeback these days.
Oh yeah. No, and
In a big
that's
way.
like, well, that's like I was saying before, is every once in a while I got to go out in the woods and ground myself. When I was 18, 19, 20, you'd never hear me talking about spirituality or energies or anything else like that. No, it all started from caring about a living organism plant.
So when you did decide to cultivate the plant or begin to cultivate the plant, did you find a new relationship with the plant at that point? How did your feelings change with cannabis? Did you kind of have that like little revelation there that we were talking about a second ago? That it was again a little bit more than you gave it credit for?
Oh, it absolutely was. It was completely different. Like I said, I didn't get best quality stuff. So opened my eyes to not only the quality of things and how to grow it. And sorry, my apprentice just walked in to grab the joint. You sneaky bastard. But yeah, man, it's oh, I lost my train of thought. Squirrel.
Must be some pretty good wedding cake there. Couldn't be that bad.
Oh, it's not definitely that. And you got to remember, I just had to take a 3-day vacay off of it because I felt like shit. So, right, that, and I was hitting dabs before coming on stream because I'm an idiot. But
I would hope.
Like I said, man, my end game for tonight was just to make some people chuckle. That way, when they see my name, they're just like, "Yeah, yeah, he's just trying to find." But can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
And basically, we were talking about if cannabis changed when you started cultivating it, the way you kind of you felt about it.
Yeah, because starting to grow it and then looking for more patients and really talking to people and figuring out it wasn't just smoking, it was the oils, it was the Rick Simpson oils were coming around, edibles were a big thing. Like I would really almost hyper focus on how I could make this one plant do so many different things to help 2 or 3 different people. My, thing back then and will always be for the rest of my life to help depression and anxiety. Now I also have ADHD, so everything kind of flips where I have a sativa and it kind of takes me down, where an indica kind of picks me up a little bit. So I have to take things like that into account. It's like, oh, are you like that? Have you tried this and that? And then it really started getting me into researching different strains. And I hate myself that I can't remember all the terpenes and what they do and, you know, everything like that. But just understanding at that point when I started, there's an entire world that you need to figure out a little bit about to be able to help what you want to do, you know, help this person with his back pain, or, you know, help yourself with getting out of your own damn head in the morning. And you could do it with one damn plant. It really was, it was like night and day, because before that it was literally, oh, you're feeling anxious, go to the doctors, they're going to put you on a drug, and hey, you got depression, they're going to put you on a drug, and oh wait, oh no, you can't sleep because of that drug, oh, we're going to put you on another drug. And that's, in my world, that's where it was. You know, I was hidden from a lot of it, but I loved opening my world up to it. And I don't think I've ever even slightly closed the door of what can cannabis do. You know, even what can dandelions do? What can any herb or anything that we can grow help medically? So, yep, it's given me an entire new subject to hyper focus on. So,
A good one, though, a really good one. I kind of ask, and I guess you're a good person to ask, or talk about with this. Is I really find in a lot of cases that yes, cannabis has its medicinal value, as a medicine, many shapes and forms. But I say very often that the cultivation side of things, just growing the plant, being in the room, having, it takes you away, honestly. You know what I mean? It kind of takes your mind off your anxiety, what's the fuckery in the world, you know. And not only that, the end product of it producing a medicine, which has a healing value to you, that in itself is huge. But hey, have you noticed that? I mean, working with new growers, you see that, you see new growers all the time. How have you seen it progress for other people as they come in? And it's got to be kind of infectious on your end anyway. You go home and have that, that vibe, that new grower vibe at some points, rub off a little bit. Yes, no, maybe.
oh, no doubt. It, I completely agree with you, because growing is kind of, it's my getaway calm down place. I I've listened to everything from your show to Mozart. Music and plants combined together, I feel, is the medicine all on its own. It just let go of everything that was eating at you, chip it away. You know, you're letting go of everything that happens throughout the day and just focusing on what you're doing. And you almost lose what you're doing, but it's still being done. You're just peace. No, the new grower vibe was awesome, because when somebody came in that had high energy and was just like, okay, I just got, my first run done, or I'm really excited to even start right now. And they would want to get as much information and talk. You would have some of the coolest conversations ever. And I hate the mentality that somebody thinks they know more about growing than another person. Which in a sense they do, but everyone's learning. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I never shut myself down. Most time people say that I underestimate myself, I guess, about how much somebody knows, because I've had somebody come in that doesn't know anything about growing and really didn't realize how simple it was. And he had some of the best stuff I've seen come out of a first grower. And he would sit there and we were talking about growing setup and all the little things. And yeah, I know exactly what you mean about energies kind of rubbing off. And then I go down to my grow room and I'm so excited for my girls. And it's like, oh yes, it's cool when everybody kind of vibes like that unintentionally.
So now we've kind of built up a little bit of timeline there. So when did like the grow store experience, or when did the mentor kind of come into play? When does that start to come into play here now?
Oh, okay. So my mentor, like I said, I started when I was like 2013, and I've worked a lot of shops. Like most of my jobs have just been factory shops. And I ended up running into a guy that I used to work with. Cool guy, always had great shit. I didn't realize he actually grew his own. I just thought he had a good connect. And he was actually the one that would sit down with me and talk all the little details that I was, asking, because I do overthink everything. So I need to know those little details. And he was the one that started or had the grow shop in Hemlock. He was the one that started doing the subcool thing. And he was a good buddy of mine for a good time. But yeah, anytime I ever had a question, he'd help me out. I'd help him with his. So like, I didn't understand the transplanting concept, like, because I was still learning not only about cannabis, but I was learning about plants themselves and root growth formations and stuff like that. So he's like, all right, come over. Like I said, I go over and help him with his garden. He'd always feel bad and try to give me something. He's like, let me just, and I'm like, no, dude. I loved learning from the guy because he would hyper focus on the tiniest details. And it would show me so much, because that's, kind of how I'm doing it anyway. Great guy. Wish I knew what he was doing. He's probably doing something awesome, but basically 2015 through 17 was crazy. But yeah, so, and the funny thing is, we would actually talk. We would sit down, smoking a joint, and he would take forever, and it drove me nuts to roll a joint. But they would be the most asymmetrical joints and smoothest, easy drawing joints I've ever had in my life. But we'd be sitting there talking about, I didn't really realize it at the time, but because of my mentality and I like creating, he was talking about building soils and creating eco living systems. And then we'd end up talking about different strains and stuff like that. And I'm still fresh out of the gate, young and full of piss and vinegar about cannabis. I'm like, oh, well, what's Jack Hare? What's, what those terpenes, what those terpenes. Shut the fuck up. But we're talking about different terpenes and what they do and the CBD effects. And then he would make a lot of BHO and edibles and stuff like that. And that's where I finally started experiencing different kinds of it that he made, because I was so fresh starting out. I just wanted to get growing the plant down before I started messing with too much else. He helped me learn how to make butters for the first couple times. And I went Kilroy on my window because somebody was walking around outside, and I realized that edibles, not really my bag.
What don't you like about the edibles?
Oh, I love them because they taste delicious and they fuck me the hell up, but I'm paranoid as a motherfucker because I ate too many. There, I can tell you, pumpkin spice and blue cheese go together wonderfully. I ate like 9 damn cookies before I remembered there was pot in them, and I was in the fetal position for like 12 fucking hours. Woke up the next day, drove to work thinking I was sober. Was like, I've been driving for like 45 minutes. Blinked out my eyes a couple times. Going, nope, I'm a mile down the road. I'm calling in.
That's fucking awesome, man. I definitely can relate, man. I definitely can relate to that shit, man. First time I really tripped balls on cannabis, on edibles was the same. Well, I had made butter, long story, ate way too many fucking cookies, similar, woke up super fucking high, tripping balls. Didn't last no 12 hours, but I don't think people realize that it can, when you eat it like that, how long it can actually stay in your system. And the more you eat, it really does kind of add up for the duration.
Oh, and that brings up a completely different hyperfixation of why does it affect me differently than somebody else? I know somebody that can eat them and eat them and eat them and eat them and eat them, nothing. I was like, it has to do with how your body's going to digest it. How, if you have, what's that one nobody wants to talk about? IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Edibles are going to hit you different. So that brings up a completely new hyperfixation of what cannabis can do if you tweak it just a little bit. Something that helps with most edibles that most people know: sunflower lecithin. It bonds to fat cells differently than everybody else. So that was something that really kept me focusing. Like, oh, there's something new. That's an interesting topic. What about the food that you eat? How does that bond with you? Yada, yada, yada. Rant over.
Good points, brother. Very good points. For sure. I necessarily didn't take in like, irritable bowel syndrome or stuff like that. But it does kind of correlate, I guess. For me, in my eyes, when somebody has that tolerance like you're talking about, I always kind of look at it and go, you've got you've got other you've got other symptoms. There's an underlining something, you know what I mean? You may or may not be aware of is my thought on that. You know what I mean? It's going to your back, it's going something else. Your body's definitely your mind, your body is telling it, you're not getting high with this medicine. You know what I mean? We're turning it into, pain medication. It's gonna fucking do this. But I think you're right.
I
I
have
think your
had that
body
exact
definitely
stoner thought. I've had that exact stoner thought, like crazy, like sitting there staring at somebody baked in my mind going, where did your weed go that you're not tripping on this cookie? It was crazy. And I truly believe maybe it was like, okay, we need to repair this. Like it just connected the cannabinoid system in the human body enough that repaired something or helped with something else. Maybe. Or maybe we're all just really fucking high.
No, I think you're spot on, brother. I definitely think you're spot on with that. Not just because you're agreeing. Not just because we're kind of agreeing with each other. No, I think you're definitely on to something there for sure. But so uh I guess I'm the same way with the overdoing it with the edibles. I guess why do they make them? Why does they always have to be in sweet form? Why can't they be like that? I mean, for people like myself, man, I'm just that's my weakness. Good sweet, and they always make them so delicious. So, Do you make your own, or are you counting on, you know, is this from your own batches or others?
Oh, when I do anything with like edibles or anything else in the past, like my mentor that I was talking about, he would actually give me a bunch of his trim to make edibles with when I was, you know, working on getting my yields up to actually, you know, supply me more than, 2 months. um, so that was cool. So I had a lot of room to fuck shit up. And that's one of my favorite learning styles. Um, I learn more from failure than I do success. And I hate myself for the failure. Don't get me wrong. I don't ever not beat myself up, but I learn more from it. But no, the most time when I make edibles, like guy that helps me out in my garden a lot, he does like his, so I'll make them. All for my trim, and that's another thing that I love is everything goes to a specific spot. You can use your trim. The bud, is smokable. A lot of people put the stems and everything else in the compost pile. So, and that goes to my love of organics, where the way I feel true organics is almost self-sustaining. Like, you shouldn't have to do too much into the system. So like I said, that's just one thing I do love about cannabis. No, most of the time I just make my butters. I got into making coconut oil because I feel like it is good, but got a higher fat content, so it holds on to more THC. Old crock pot method, nothing too fancy. No, it doesn't taste too bad. Uh, I have thought about making can of milk. I've also thought about making can of sugar. I've threatened my mother-in-law with can of gravy because she was talking bad about.
I think Grandma got it for talking about that can of gravy.
Specify that again.
Yeah, I just got to clarify. I don't know where I disconnected. I would never drug my mother-in-law. It was just for a joke.
That's about what we heard there. Last thing I heard, my mother-in-law does not like the gravy. I went, ooh, well, she just cut you out for talking about that gravy, didn't she?
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. There's times I'd like to. No, and that's the thing about the edibles is if you took the time, you can make anything edible. I've went on a small hyperfixation. Like I said, edibles aren't really my personal thing. I'll eat them every once in a while if I'm in like a bit of pain. But that's about it. And I got to really be careful. And I'll probably overdo it with dabs just to make sure I don't fucking overdo it with edibles. But you can make anything. But hell, you can go on YouTube and look at what a Bon Appetits or Bong Appetits or whatever some of those shows are called. There's a billion of them now. I know a guy that made mac and cheese. I don't know how. I think he just threw some butter in there because he was an idiot. But that's brings you back to, I believe that everybody should be able to grow this plant at least 1, 2, 3, however many you need to do whatever you want to do for your personal household. So yeah.
So heck yeah. Do you do anything else with your fuck it. I'm not even gonna ask that question. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Back up. Back up, Yoda. Back up. So I guess we go back a little bit to how you grow, a little bit of, your method, your madness, I guess. So do you prefer to start from clone? Do you start from seed? how do you get your girls going? That's kind of funny. How do you get your girls going, Yoda?
All right. So at the beginning, young buck stage, like I said, I got those couple plants from the guy for the doing the job, and everything was cloned. I'm like, okay, this is how I keep these going. And I'd already always heard that you can keep the plants going by clones because, like I said, I was learning from that guy. So I knew about cloning. Went to the grocery store first time I tried it. Got rock wool. I got a tiny little fish pump because I had the idea is like in this dome, I'm gonna drill a little hole. I'm gonna put an air stone in a solo cup, and I'm gonna humidify that dome that way with this tiny little fish pump. And everything but my grape Kush died. And I was so disappointed because that grape Kush tasted and smelled grape all the way down. And that's actually inadvertently a really big key of I wanted to taste more terpenes. I wanted to get that quality that I didn't really have growing up. You know, so where was I going with that? Fuck my life.
Squirrel.
Yeah, shiny.
You were talking about terpenes, you know, how you wanted to get what you didn't have. Basically.
Oh, yeah, the cloning and the seeds. Cloning and seeds. So I was very disappointed those two grape Kushes didn't turn out in the clones, but everything else turned out immaculate. Like they grew roots in like 5-6 days. And I was like, what the hell? I must have taken them at the exact right time, exact moment of the lunar equation of that damn month or some shit, because it turned out great other than the grape Kush. So so that was the way that I knew how to start plants. I never really started with seeds until I started back up in 2017. So I'm going in all nervous and once again, just overthought it, over researched it. I'm looking at, okay, what's the organic way to pop seeds? What's the inorganic way? What are the easiest ways? What is the most successful and stuff like that? Yeah. So I never really got into seeds, but now I prefer popping from seeds because I got a pretty down packed, simple method. It's really nothing but, I guess it's a fulvic humic acid mix that I just mix with some water, drop my seeds in, 24 hours, pour the same mix on paper towel, and wait another 24 hours. And I normally have great results. So yeah, I prefer seeds, but knowing if I'm trying to keep something going, like sometimes the differences in the phenos like just makes a room difficult to manage. Like right now, my Gorilla room has my Gorilla Glue and Tent 2 have 5 different phenos, 3 of which are tall as hell, touching the light. So I'm sitting there kicking myself. I waited too long in veg. I like my OCD prefers clones. My creativity like seeds. That's the best way I could put it.
There's nothing wrong with that. Take some of the work out of it. You know, some of the pain, heartache, I guess. For what I guess on the other side of that coin, I have a deeper relationship with my seeds. With the cannabis I've grown from seed, I definitely have a deeper connection with. than any clone I've ever taken. Any clone I've ever taken in, it could be the biggest, baddest cut. You know what I mean? But it's still like, it's you know
Oh,
what I
that
mean?
seed is.
I'm still rooting for my team. You know what I mean?
Oh, and that I know exactly what you mean. That seed is always just cared for just a little bit more because you're just connected to it. And that's actually funny because I've decided to I don't know, I guess take my creativity and just my wonder. Um I'm gonna do a little bit of pollen chucking. Well, not necessarily pollen chucking. Um a little bit of breeding, playing around with, seeing what I can do. So I got a couple buddies that is gonna help me out, and they're gonna look for cool phenos if I can find one here or not. Maybe make my own personalized fucking plant. Now, it won't be my own personalized plant because, people have been working on these strains for so long. So most of the work, I got to give credit to everybody else. But it'd be cool to see what I could do with the things that I have. And it does stem from a love of liking to pop seeds because that's essentially all you're going to be fucking doing. But yeah, if I go on mute, my daughter is getting up and trying to walk around, so I do apologize. She's 4 and loves her dad.
Okay, no worries. That is nothing to be ashamed of, my friend. That's awesome, by the way.
Oh, not ashamed. I have to make sure that she doesn't wake up her twin sister, and that's yeah. And then they'll never stay up or never go to bed. So, but no, they're good girls. But anyway, so yeah, I was actually going to ask at some point if I do make any seeds that sound cool, if you would be willing to try some at some point, Eagle.
Of course. Of course. Oh, yeah. Always. Yeah, I've always got room to test something at some point or another. I'm behind the gauntlet right now because of things winding down, but I'm hoping things will change very soon on that. Uh, Man, it would be so awesome if Michigan would just kind of take an Oklahoma kind of stance, man. Even at that, I thought about that shit, man. My luck, I would pack up, move to Oklahoma, get all my proper licensing, drop all my beans, you know what I mean? All the strains I have, and then fucking they would change something and I wouldn't be able to house that. You know what I mean? Uh,
Oh, I know.
you know,
And it's funny how tempting that was. Like when I heard about Oklahoma and not having a plant count, I was in the shop going, dude, if you're really like thinking about making this a business, think about Oklahoma. Like, yeah, Michigan, whatever, I'm not a fan of how Michigan, likes to play with their, caregivers. But I was telling them, it's like, look at Oklahoma. Look at Oklahoma. They're like, what's up with Oklahoma? And I, tell them a little bit. It's like no plant count. It's so fucking young and fresh. And that was, back a while. And maybe one or two of them actually looked into it. Maybe not. I don't know. But the idea of moving to Oklahoma, not having a plant count, and being able to make anything you wanted is so bittersweet. But yeah, I could imagine that because I was actually on the other day when you showed off, I think, one of your cases of seeds. That would just be a beautiful arraignment of freaking plants because I don't even know how long you've been collecting half of those damn things.
this time I was muted. It's been a journey. Fuck, I've been growing for 20 years. I would hate to think that some of them are that old, but I'm sure there's a few. I'm sure there's a few in there that old, but I love collecting them, man. It's the thrill of the hunt. You know, I've always loved and talked about that. I like to have what everybody else isn't growing. And so I've always found myself for the one the ones I purchase, the freebies I get or whatever, I'm always inclined to pop that shit first. You know what I mean? Give the little guy. I've always been like an underdog kind of person anyway. So, you know what I mean? I want to give that one a chance that I haven't heard of that I'm desperately hoping will be that super fire. So you know, and some tend to build up. So yeah, it's been a minute, but
and that's the cool thing about this plant is you literally have an entire memory bank in that cage. Every seed that you look at, everything that is connected to canvas, and that's a beautiful thing. And the seeds, I've always been one of those people's like the main, you know, whatever was hip and hop at that time, Gorilla, you know, Wedding Cake, Runt, Slurricane, Mac, you know, the ones that you hear the most. I never went for those when I was buying seeds. Never. I bought a Banana Daddy seed, or like a group of them, like one of the first, well, not too long ago, just because it sounded good to me. And I'm buying whatever seeds I want because I don't buy seeds very often because most time I just don't have the money, and the ones I want are too damn much and I'm just not paying it. But I was like, okay, I'm really gonna buckle down and get one of these big breeder seeds, you know, ethos or whatever. And I was like, all right, what do I want? No, I don't want a Runts. Yeah, they're good, but I'm looking for, you know, different flavors and stuff like that. I love it when I give something to somebody and they're coming back going, dude, I tasted, you know, the sour, or, you know, the lemon, the grape, you know, and it's not just everything tastes like lemon. And there's always ways that you can make lemon. You had a guy talking about Terpinator on one of your shows a long time ago about the sulfur in Terpinator, you know, makes a lot of things taste like lemon because it puts it into stress. So yeah, that was when I'm looking for seeds. And it's funny because I bought these seeds, or bought Banana Daddy, and like 3 months later I started hearing people growing Banana Daddy. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like I was almost angry I didn't go too weird with the seed. But yeah, I love growing things that aren't mainstream. So, but
shout out to
and
Thunder Dan there, man. That cat's loving that Banana Daddy every time it pops on. That's the cannabis of choice. So if you've got something that have you popped it yet? Are you running the Banana Daddy?
oh, that's already done and over with. I actually, one of the saddest grow moments I've had in a long time is I had one singular seed left, and it was just scratching at the back of my head to do something cool with it. And because I was running the nectar for the gods for the longest time, and I love the quality and the terpenes that were coming from it all, and the flavors, and it really was cool because working with nectar, it opened my eyes to a lot of more organics that I just wasn't quite putting more of my focus into, and understanding. It's like, okay, this is how it's going. Okay, this is how it's working. And that's one cool thing I did like about running that. But I had this one singular seed left. I was like, I want to do something cool. I tried to pop the damn thing in rock wool, tried to do in a deep water culture with it, and accidentally dried it, and it died. So as one of my recent fuck ups, but my recent DW, or deep water culture, in tent 3 is not doing too bad. So I learned from it, moved on. But yeah, there was some of the cool colors that were coming from it. It was back when I was taking my wife's really expensive camera in the tents and snapping these really cool pictures and going all photographic with it for my Instagram. And if I ever feel like it again, I might do that. But it was just really cool colors, and I love the Banana Daddy. It's like almost like muffin-y flavors. But no, right now I've got the one I'm looking forward to the most is Giggle Pig, that's finishing out probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I'll be posting a bunch of pictures in the next couple days about those that I've been taking the last couple days. It's a buddy of mine. I'm not sure if I can say who he is. He's a sales rep for a company. He's putting seeds together. He's mixing plants, goofing off. I don't know if he's doing it, trying to make a business name. So, but
I gotta tell you, I love the fucking name. I love the fucking name. That's fucking awesome. Giggle Pig, eh?
Yeah, it's an heirloom Afghan Kush. It's a master Kush. He supposedly got from overseas, way back in the 80s or 90s or something, and then a orange sherbet. Definitely loving the smell coming out of that tent. The different variations aren't crazy bad. Like I've got one that's like a lot shorter than the other ones. So he did a cool job with them. And I would have loved to clone him. He gave me so many seeds that I could throw a bunch of them outdoor, and I would love seeing the different variations come from it. Just because, it has that lineage. I feel like it has stuff that I haven't seen in a really long time that might pop through, So yeah, that's the thought I've been having the last couple of weeks, but I don't think I need to be getting into doing outdoor. So yeah. Then I've got a grease monkey collection that I've been doing. Collection of, I did a bunch of seeds just looking for a mom, and if I want to breed anything together. I've gotten into buying regular seeds just because maybe I do want to throw it together just to see what the hell comes out with, because I love that guess. Like, you don't know really what you're going to get. I'm still like a newbie on that one because I get giddy over creating things like that. Like I said, that's my personality, as I love creating and, making things that other people like as well. So yeah, the grease monkey will probably play a big thing of whatever the fuck I do in the future. And we'll see how it goes, man. Roller coaster of life,
That's awesome. So back to the garden a little bit. As them seeds clones grow up a little bit, how do you like to train your plants? Do you like to let them just kind of grow up? You prefer to scrog? Seems like as you claim to be ADHD, scrog would fit the bill.
Yeah. So when I first started, I hated just that full plant, messiness. Like, it was so thick in the middle. It took me a while to really get into scrogging, and I still battle with it, but that is my preferred. So most of the time when I am popping seeds, I normally wait until I've got about 4 or 5 nodes, and I'll take the top one. And I'm really looking at them all the time, just trying to keep one even canopy, because that's the best results I've gotten so far for my style. I can normally, I don't know, I like to try to pull a pound out of a 4x4 tent. That way it just, makes me feel good about myself, I guess. That was just a goal I had at one point. So that's what I try to do. And yeah, scrogging and trying to make that even canopy is a fun little game. The gorilla went out of control. I failed that game miserably. So I laugh at myself every time I open up the tent, but they look great. They're getting frosty. I love how they're turning out. even the really tall ones in the back that are, going to be yelling at me in 2 weeks that they're too damn heavy and need to be held up by something. I love how they look. So yeah, scrogging is definitely my top method. Topping, I got into bending plants a lot, low stress training. Like I said, if I go in, think of my room, I know how much space I have. Tent 1 is 4x4, tent 2 is 4x4, tent 3 is 3x3. I know how much space I have. I try to keep that canopy. And then when I put them into the tent, because I've got the 3 tents in the bedroom, scrogging all the way in my head. But I've seen really cool people do really cool things with bamboo sticks. My mentor would do a scrog system, but he built it with bamboo sticks. So it wasn't as elaborate, but it was still pretty dope. Outdoor is completely different than indoor. So I don't venture too much in the outdoor. The only time I've ever done that, it was kind of a failure where it got eaten by bugs. So I was like, I got to learn more about pest management before I really try this too much. And now I feel like my knowledge is where I need to be. It's just everything else isn't. So that's why I don't mess with too much outdoor, but I think it'd be cool to do some. I was telling my wife that I'd love to get a 30-foot greenhouse and take half of it and make it for cannabis and be able to do outdoor scrogs, because it was somebody I was listening to on YouTube. It might have been on one of your shows. He was talking about out in Cali, you had to be an amazing gardener and they would do the scrogging to keep their cannabis down low, but to get full sun. And that idea just, I don't know. I think it would look really, really cool. So yeah, scrogging's always been my go-to, but it took me a while to find it. And I wish I would have just bit the bullet and tried scrogging a lot earlier in my growing. Just because it was like a light switch, like, oh shit, it's this easy to keep this even and consistent. There we go. And then you learn into lollipopping and trim the girls downstairs and it looks all beautiful, and then you get happy plants.
Happy plants.
Happy plants.
So I tried. I get the scrog. I can't do it. Oh, I can do it. You know what I mean? I can do it. I have no problems with running the scrog, but it's a bad breaker for me. I don't like the bending over, you know.
See, and that's
I guess
that's
I gotta
where,
fuck with them. I gotta fuck with them, man.
And that's I kind of cheat in what I do, at least as of right now, is everything sits on flood tables, which goes to my sump pump. So I could literally roll around my grow area in a roller chair and water everything very efficiently with a hose. And I don't have to worry about drainage. I don't have to worry about sucking out, any trays. It is such an ease of convenience. It's beautiful. And that's what makes the scrog just a little bit better, because I can set it up and kind of forget it. Now I will adjust the lights to hit different spots of the canopy throughout the grow. Like my one grow, I think I'm running, I don't think I know, Mars Hydro SP3000 lights. They're 2 different lights, but the footprint is 2 foot by 4 foot. Now, I'm a hobbyist. I don't, make a whole lot of money, so I haven't put thousands of dollars into it. I use 2 of them in there, and I'll just move them a little bit here and there every once in a great while, just so they hit a little bit different. But I have it set up where it works for me, and that's back again, broken record. Love the job. But
well, as far as I'm considered, man, the price of the light necessarily these days representative of good light. You know, I think a Mars light is can be quite efficient. To be honest with you.
Oh, I'm not. It. I've done so much research on lights for people. It's unreal. Well, probably not. There's probably a bunch of people in your chat room that's going, I've put 80,000 hours into my light research. Cool beans. But yeah, if you know what your specific little area is looking for and how you can maximize it and everything else like that, the tent itself setup is probably only $900, maybe, if that. And like I said, I can pull out a pound if I really want to. So that's easy. But the other tent's got a Mars Hydro in it. Actually, that's all I'm running right now. Oh shit. So I love the results that I get from them. They show me cool things that the plants can do. I learn to work with them instead of against them. I've tried putting CO2 bags in the tents with them to give them extra CO2. I try different stuff all the time. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think them lights work well myself. I definitely suggest something like that for a beginner. Mystic, I am not napping again. I realized my ugly mug was the only one on the screen, so I fucking camered off. Damn. Yeah, I noticed Yoda, and I forgot to ask pre-show. There's two ways around like the box. See, you're a box in my Zoom, but on YouTube, you're not even on there. So I realized for about an hour in, because I remember I told you before show, I'm like, man, if I don't camera off, they'll just look at my ugly mug. And I kind of agreed with you there for a minute. We got going. I'm like, yeah, it ain't so bad. I'm sure he's a box, but you're not an active box on YouTube unless you can choose, like, say, that Yoda picture you got as a virtual background. Okay. And then that's what I did. The Hunter S. Thompson is my virtual background. And then you cover the camera and then it'll take you out of the picture. So basically, you can choose Yoda as your background and then cover the camera, and then it makes Yoda your picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I figured out how to do that on the laptop, but because I don't ever use this crap. So I apologize.
Right.
Like I said, I'm a radio
no worries, brother.
personality.
I just realized that, like, probably about an hour into it, I did the description and the show there, and then I flipped back, and I'm like, oh man, it's just me. Oh man, they've been looking at me for the last fucking hour. That's when I kind of flipped on the background there. Fucking Mystic give me a little shit there. So cheers to you, Mystic. No, I'm not sleeping. I just took my ugly mug out of the picture. But no worries, Yoda. In the future, though, all you basically got to do is figure out, like, if it's wanting to use the front side of your camera, or the front facing camera, just put a piece of tape over it, and then it'll just show Yoda. Uh, if you want to be an active box, that's what I'm saying. But no worries, brother. I'm happy to have you either way. Radio persona or video, it's all good, my friend. Oh, he's gone. Did I just scare the motherfucker off? Did I just scare Yoda off? Hey, come back, Yoda. Damn it. There, he's back. He's back. Cheers, Yoda. He's Are you there?
We now return to the regular scheduled fuck up. I don't even know what the fuck happened there. Everything just closed.
I thought I offended you.
No, fuck no. I don't think I've yet met a person that can. Other than the wife when she's mad. But yeah. Yeah, I played around with it a little bit. Like I said, I'm more of a radio host kind of guy. I played around with it a little bit. I wanted to put the picture up there. I figured out how to do that. I just can't do it from my phone right now. So I apologize about that.
No worries. Oh, all right. So where we kind of leave off here. So do you want to talk a little bit about maybe IPM, what you do in your situation? How do you handle bad stuff indoors?
That's actually an interesting topic. The one I've been thinking about the most. Right now, my IPM is I won't touch them after week like 3 in flower, but I just spray every once in a while. I use Mammoth Can Control. It's got a bunch of oils in it, stuff like that. And every once in a while, if I can afford it, I'll throw a spray of like Lost Coast in there. But I've been doing a ass ton of research about beneficial ones. Like I was reading and listening to Smiley's yesterday about them spraying plants down with the silica and stuff like that and helping prevent stuff. And so I'm going to be hyper focusing on that and maybe changing that style up dramatically. Not saying that there's been dramatic problem. I did have a nice little fuck up a while ago and get PM. So I didn't want to battle it. So I made the decision to cut some things, and I still cry at night about it, but moving on. So yeah, I always researching different things. I've been lucky, knock on wood, that I haven't had to battle too many things. When I started out, however, I got a case of the spider mites because I went clone crazy, man. I was one of those idiot people, didn't think about it, didn't quarantine, didn't really look into IPM at that phase in my growing career. Not that it's been a career. That how to prevent that stuff. So I get on Craigslist of all places, get a bunch of clones. I can't even remember half of them. And what really pisses me off is I had Death Star at one point, and that turned out to be one of my favorite smokes for a while, and I lost it. And I'd love to see what I could do with it now. But anyway, got spider mites. Battled those little fuckers for fucking ever. And that really led me to think, it's like, hey, man, you really need to think what you're doing, what you're bringing in, what you're doing. So I try to do simple things like change my clothes from the outdoors, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's always a learning thing. I will never never stop myself from learning more IPM procedures to better myself. Yeah. I'll go as far as put my awesome beard. Just joking. If any of you really big beard guys just listening, but putting that in the hairnet just to go into my tiny little tent. So I don't think you can ever stop learning and trying different things and hoping. But I've been listening to a lot of like Dr. Ingram talk about her pest management things, different bacteria that helps with it. I love talking to the K&F guys that know their shit. I got one guy that I used to talk to up in, I don't know, I think he worked in a facility up in Cadillac, I don't know, or Calcasca or wherever the hell that is. But talking to him was awesome. The little school kid in me that just wanted to learn everything just came out. He would talk about, it's my arch nemesis words. The acid, the stuff you make out of milk, pretty much. But spraying that on plants and what that does.
Lactose.
There you go. Like I said, if I ain't got it right in front of me, I can't ever freaking remember it. But yeah, he was always talking about that. And, you know, I've got a dairy farm up the road. So I'm doing some serious debate going, hey, let me try making that from scratch, you know? So yeah, that's been on the hyperfixation point for a little bit of time.
That one in particular has some interest in me just because, fuck, man, it's an all-purpose. It's an all-purpose, man. It does good for your plants. You feed it to your plants. You can use the SPM. You can clean your fucking house with it. You can drink the shit. You know what I mean? It's has so many good uses. Yeah, that's one of the things that hopefully I venture down that path as well.
And that's the thing about it too, is when you think about that, it's like, okay, if that's, you know, a regiment for, you know, this 10 or this 10, when I've been going back more into my organics because I've got more time right now. So I'm doing more research on my organics because I'd really love to get a couple no-till beds going, at least outdoors, indoor, whatever. I'd love to get one indoor, just to have one ecosystem in one tent and see how long I can sustain it and keep it going with simple little efforts out of my own pocket. And sub irrigation beds just always pique my interest. But I don't know how I would do it indoor the way I want to do it. But yeah, look at, you know, spraying, or not spraying, but applying the right bacteria on your leaf as a foliar spray is a great IPM. So I don't know, man, there's a lot of info out there that's pretty cool, and I keep hyper focusing on, and I ain't stopping yet. So
like I said earlier, man, the cannabis and cannabis cultivation in particular has so many, it's opened so many doors for me, you know what I mean, in research and wanting to understand shit.
oh yeah,
Again, I don't understand where the typical stereotype ever applied to cannabis.
I mean, you get them, man. You did. Every group's got a bad apple or two, you know. It's just whatever, but it's, yeah. I don't know. I love, you know, it. I love the plant. There's a lot of different facets about it, and you could literally change up to a different facet about it every week and entertain yourself until you get bored, and then do another facet for a little while, and do this one and then that one, and still rotate back to I grew a damn plant that got me giggly.
I'd like to play that for some people in my family right there. I grew a plant that made me go giggly. That because that's about it too. That's the basic harm of it. You know what I mean? You didn't brew it. You didn't put this and this together to make you know what I mean, to make cannabis.
At no point of making was I going to die. No point of creating this was I going to die.
Yeah. The neighbors weren't in danger from something exploding. You know what I mean? It's
beautiful.
It is, and I I'm glad to see a lot of people be more and more open-minded about it. That's one of the few things I'm grateful for recreational cannabis is it did give it allowed people that wouldn't normally, even if it was medical, give it a shot. You know what I mean? But
oh, absolutely.
it's legal. Well, I guess it can't be, you know.
One of my
So
favorite customers at the shop was this little old lady that probably grew 1 or 2 plants. No clue what she was doing. Loved her. She'd get into like old war stories and stuff like that. I was like, oh, it was so cool. And that's all she did, 1 or 2 plants. That's it. So yeah, that
I
list is
talked
already
to
pretty short about the whole good things about recreational some days, I feel, but it it's cool that it's opened up so many more people going, hey, it's not just something you smoke in a back alley. You're okay now. Come out. Um, and now it's getting more mainstream, and there are some facets I still roll my eyes at. Like, yeah, I'm too old for that shit, but it's what it is. Um, I went to a grow expo a while ago, and just the different variations. Well, that was a while ago. Different variations of people there were so cool. Um, so yeah, I don't really go to a whole lot of like events because I'm not social, but I love that it opens up everybody.
I think you'd enjoy the events. I think that's one thing about cannabis that that's what makes this whole YouTube, Instagram kind of shit. That's what initially drove it. To be honest with you, is the fact that I think at some point we're either have the introvert trait naturally in us, or cannabis, the viewpoints of people have made us introverts, either for using it or whatnot. We've been forced behind closed doors and made to be introverted. I think that's what kind of made the whole YouTube, Instagram thing kind of pop off, is because, we were forced behind closed doors, but we do like to talk to people. So if you could, talk to somebody and still have that guard, that internet guard,
I just want my little
in
bit of
between.
defense.
Yeah. Yeah. The little bit of security blanket there.
Right. I can turn this off at
Prop
any
people
time.
out. Yeah. But
But I
I
mean,
think
in the
as
same
people,
aspect,
came out, they kind of fell in love with talking with people. And I think but you'll find as you go to them events, man, it's very easy to let your guard down and go, man, this is a lot of fun, man. There's fucking bunch of cool fuckers here. Moreover, now that more and more people like from chats, these shows and stuff, I actually go to the events. It's really cool to, shake hands, hug in some cases, smoke some of the fucking cannabis. It's a lot of fun, man. There's a lot of great
oh,
events these days.
I went to Cannabis Cup 2016 over in Clio. And yeah, it was a blast because I got to talk to a lot of like seed breeders, stuff like that. I got a whole bunch of different strains to try. I'm walking around with like a backpack on, just by myself in awe, having a blast. And like it sucked because I got like a 2-day pass, but only went for 1 day because I got everything done that I wanted to really do. But yeah, it was a cool time. I'll say that. Cool conversations all the way around. I don't know. I guess I've had more fun at grow expos.
So I guess go down that road a little bit to time, industry kind of related. Uh, so how do you actually feel about now that you're not necessarily, I guess it's easier to talk about now that you're not necessarily connected to any in particular, uh, like store or anything like that. How do you feel about, 90 all the products on the shelves being pushed towards growers Do you think a lot of them are necessarily necessary? Yay, no. Overpriced for cannabis. You can find similar or better products, more in general growing supplies. What do you think about the shit on the shelves? Tell me about the shit on the
Shit on the
shelves, brother.
shelves. That is the fucking episode that you should have. Shit on the shelf. I mean, everything's got its place. I can't sit there and say this is wrong or that's wrong. If somebody likes it and wants to use it, then let them use it, whatever. But yeah, I really feel like there's a lot of, hey, watch this dumbass buy this shit. So I don't know, man. That's one dark road that I don't like about cannabis. And that's, if you think about a plant that has the yin and yang, I guess cannabis right now kind of does, because you see a lot of people benefiting off of, a simple plant that is really just a greedy fuck. Lack of better terms. Whether it be the guy that bought that grow facility or the guy that bought that dispensary or whatever, that's the dark road in my head. But yeah, there's a lot of shit on the shelf, man. But then again, somebody can come in and say, hey man, I've been using your shit on the shelf for 16 damn years. I don't give a fuck what you say. Cool, dude. If it works for you, whatever, dude. Love it. Whatever. But I don't know. Like, that brings me to you talking and asking last night about silicates in the soil. In my head, you're putting the sand in there or the green sand even. If you're mixing it into that soil, it should have everything. That would be a self-sufficient way. Or self-sustaining or whatever. In an organic, my head organic, because I'm tired of seeing 9 different levels of organic depending on how deep your pockets go. So I just decided, okay, this is how organic is. It's going to be self-sustaining, self-efficient, an ecosystem on its own sort of thing. All or nothing. Fuck it. And even in that field, or to put my input on your question last night, no, I don't think you should be adding any kind of silicate if you're growing in a super soil or, no-till or anything else like that. Should already be in it. But even some of the shit they try to show organic people, man, is fucking just shit. So
One of my biggest questions about what comes out of the store come with one of the newer, now I'm not even going to say newer fads, but one of the things that get talked about a lot as a cannabis input, and that's of course worm castings. I'm understanding more and more, that I think that it'd be much if you're going to use worm castings, you might as well get that worm bed going now and start getting quality earthworm castings going yourself, because I kind of got this feeling that the shit that you're buying off the shelves is kind of, because you're buying it off the shelves and it's by weight, you're paying, they're actually feeding more heavy foods, I guess. You know what I mean? There's more sands in there, shit like that. I've noticed that, when I've got worm castings from a quality source and do like a slurry mix in there isn't a whole lot of, gritty bullshit in the bottom of my bucket. But when I go out and buy, an off the shelf type casting, man, there's a couple sand in the bottom of that shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, most definitely, man. And that really gets to where, like, just research on the company. Just kind of do, if you're going into a store to get worm castings, do a little bit of research. What do they feed them and stuff like that. If you're going to be using worm castings like religiously, like you're the apprentice of worm casters, definitely have a good source. And even make your own. I'm actually in the middle. Well, not in the middle. I'm going to be getting buckets set up to start making my own worm castings, so I can put either red wiggler worms out in my raised beds and have that around, because I love using them, and you always need organic matter in anything you're doing organically. So why not have them, and better off than going out and buying them. So, if you can make your own and make sure, and that just goes along with the whole self-sufficient thing, I guess. My goal is to make my own worm castings, have my own compost. And if I can't get enough, outsource it as cheaply as possible, but still know what's going into it. Like, going to be talking what, gets fed to the cows down the road if I ever want to use any of their milk for, the labs. So yeah, I don't know, like, any particular product that jumps off the shelf, like, holy crap, I wouldn't be using that kind of thing. But I know I love using the worm castings in my soil. And even if I'm not mixing it into my soil, because I don't use it all the time, I love putting it into my raised beds, even doing a cover with it on the top, just adding a little bit of that organic matter to it and helping it live a little bit longer. So, but that is something that I really feel like somebody could be sitting back going, haha, watch these dumbasses, ching ching. So
It's kind of talked about the dark side there. I think that that's the fine line there. There is a cannabis community and there's cannabis industry, and it's the folks that are really concentrated on that dollar or making a dollar off of people in cannabis is the industry. You know what I mean? I definitely think there's a line there.
oh, most definitely. I've met some cool cats that, you know, are trying to do KNF in the industry level, and I love it. I wish I could talk to that dude every day, be like, hey man, how's it going? You fight the good fight, because he's getting, you know, good stuff. That's, he's a KNF guru, man. Like, this guy has more info in this than I can ever fathom. Um, but he's up there. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, not to get too personal, the industry kind of just has a bad taste in my mouth. Like, yes, I would go work in the industry just because I feel like I could learn something. Um, but I can't, because God forbid I have a fucking past. Um, so whatever. And it's not, it's some of the shit that they try to convince people is like, hey man, this is quality. It's like, nah, motherfucker, if you convince them that's quality, that's garbage on your head. That, I don't know. You can almost have an ethical conversation about it. If some of the stuff that they're actually trying to put out there is ethical, you know, yeah, they've got these testing programs, but is everything really being tested? How well do you trust that? That guy has $50 billion invested into this fucking thing. You don't think he's trying to pay somebody off? Like, come on, man, follow the money. But so yeah, it's the dark side of cannabis that I don't know. I don't really like to dwell my head too much, because it's just rich people getting richer, that whole debacle.
I'm debated on the whole work for others on that. I don't know if I can be honest with you. That's I see there's like three possibilities there. It's either gonna kill the dream. It's either gonna kill the dream for me. I'm gonna be, there's a possibility I could love it. Can't discount that. I could always fall in love with the whole system, finding some great people to work with, yada yada yada. Or it's again, it's just gonna fuel you because you're gonna fucking hate what you're doing, and you're just gonna want to go jump off and do it better yourself. So it's either gonna destroy it, you're happy, or it's gonna fuel you to, you know, outdo
See,
them at some point.
and that's well, like recently I had a job interview at a facility, and I wasn't even going in there all bull chested and I want to lead. I don't care about that. I told the guy helped me out, try to get the um job. I told him, I was like, I'm cool with picking leaves. It's like, if they're an ethical company, they're not, fuck the environment kind of shit. I'm cool with picking leaves, man. You get to see all those trains coming in, and their leads freaking pushing hard, and you know he's running the room the way he wants, and you're just picking leaves. Like, yes, sir, whatever you want me to do, man. I've been following orders my whole life. It ain't that damn hard. Get to watch all that shit go through there and there. Yeah, it's hard work, but shit, we've been doing hard work since day one. But I don't know. I don't think I'd mind it, but like I said, shit didn't work out. It's I don't feel like it would ruin my dream because I'm the only person that could ruin my dream. My dream is to create something of my own. So there's a billion ways to do cannabis. There's a billion ways to live your life. So I don't know.
I appreciate your optimistic outlook there. It's pretty refreshing. So yeah, cheers to you, bro.
I try to as much as I can. As much as I can, I try to. It's not always there, but I got a good support system to help me out in my dark days, and we just try to laugh and make stupid ass jokes. Hell, my son's talking about making a podcast just because most time when we're goofing off, we make some funny stuff happen, and he's like, "Yeah, we should put that on the internet." It's like, "Yeah, that's awesome." Stone Dad makes funny show with son, haha. But yeah, we always just try to laugh. Always just trying
Why
to laugh.
not? Memorable moments.
Oh yeah.
I always bitch about or talk about, not necessarily bitch about, having to do the 9 to 5 thing so long. And when I mean long, I put in some long days. At some point, as I'm sure you and others have, 12-hour days to give them darlings everything they need and then some. But as they mine have grown older, having grandchildren, holy shit. Uh, I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I could have had all that overtime with them. You know what I mean? Having that, like you're talking about that podcast moment. I think that it should transcend so much further than the game we worked overtime to get them and that type of shit. So,
oh yeah, I got
that's
a
awesome.
mile long list in my head going, you're gonna regret that. You're gonna regret staying that long there. You're gonna regret, not playing that game, then. So that's every once in a while I get a good day in and say, hey, you're not gonna regret nothing then. So it's the days we push for, I guess.
Yeah, they just grow up so damn fast is the other thing too, man. Holy cow, does it go by fast. You don't think it's gonna, but it does. Holy shit.
Oh, you're telling me, brother? Preaching to the choir there. But yeah, I got,
So man, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I forgot where I was going with that, squirrel.
No, I feel bad.
Oh no, you're good. It wasn't that important.
So I actually am, I'm encouraged, as we talk about, the younger generation, and I guess it's easier for me to talk about because mine are older, I guess. But I I'm looking forward to passing all my cannabis dreams on, as far as cultivation, all that, with my children. I think
And that's,
it's
it
a
pains
wonderful
my
thing.
heart. It pains my heart to think about which direction it could go. Like the next generation of cannabis that our children are going to be taking over could be beautiful, or it could be industry eye, or whatever the hell that word would be, but beaten down so far in the industry at every person's got a pack of joints and it's so freaking chemically up and blah, 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 that everybody forgets what real shit was. I hate how long it took me to figure out what real cannabis was. And I'd hate to lose that. So it's beautiful when you think about what it could be, but it's saddening to think about what it also could be. But yeah, I've got an adult child that, partakes every once in a while, and he talks about growing every once in a while, and I love hearing him talk about it. So never know where that's going to go.
As far as that goes, and again, I have to underline just in case somebody's new to the channel or whatever. I actually like to consume cannabis with my children. It brought a whole new curve uh, back to kids. At some point, parents have alcohol drinks with their children. You know what I mean? In my opinion, much
Oh, bro,
much
you
more
just triggered a story.
dangerous.
You just triggered a story,
Let's
bro.
hear it.
So, and that's funny because I have smoked with my adult child. And it's cool because it does feel like a good connection between, you're getting along with somebody, but one parent could say, I love playing chess with my child. Cool, whatever. Don't blame me for the shit I do with my kids. But so when I was growing up, my mom must have viewed cannabis like heroin. It's anything that had to do with anything cannabis. Dare to be off drugs. Fuck you. Um, y'all didn't tell us the shit that it could do. Which brings up all the research they're doing on magical mushrooms, and that's a whole new fucking episode. But she hated it. So I'd always be with my buddy smoking, and I'd either be staying at my grandma's. She'd call me up on the house line because cell phones didn't exist back then, thank God. Where are you going? I'm staying at grandma's. You smoking that weed? No. Grandma's in there cooking fried chicken and giving me freaking Doritos and Oreos. I love you, Grandma. Rest in peace. But yeah, I hated it. So I'm hanging out with my friends. We go down to the river. We're sitting there smoking, and they weren't like really close friends. I literally met them randomly. I was more social back then, and they didn't realize how old I was. I was 16. They were all 20, 22, 23. I was just mature for my age, I guess. Hanging out, fucking just smoking, hot box in the car, stopped at the river, sitting there smoking. Somebody called the cops on us. Come up to me going, do you have an ID? I'm like, nope, don't have a driver's license, don't have an ID, don't need one, don't drive, don't care. They're like, no, you need an ID. I'm like, no, I don't. They're like, what are you doing hanging out with all these 22, 23-year-olds? Nothing. I don't know, just chilling. Fuck. And long story short, they're like, well, we're not arresting you, but we're putting you in the back of the car and your mom's going to come pick you up. Like, awesome. Reek of weed, everything else. I didn't really try to hide it too much because I was a dick, but she's standing at my grandma's house waiting for me to get out of the cop car, walk up to her. She's sitting there yelling at me. Cop pulls away. Friend pulls up behind on the back corner of the street, turn around, run in, dove into their car, took off, kept getting high.
Nice. Nice.
Fucking delinquent and a half, just an asshole being a dick. So, but it was fun. It was a great fucking day.
nothing wrong with being a little crazy there back then. You know, again, I don't know. I didn't think cannabis hindered my childhood at all. But I don't advocate for young use. But
The only thing I think it hindered was the dumbasses that I hung out with. They couldn't get better shit. But no, I don't see it as a problem. Do I think people can use it as a problem? Maybe. Take them a lot of fucking effort, but possibly could be done. Whatever. If you're buying grabs or freaking dabs.
I had a conversation today with somebody that we're talking about, cannabis use, how it's becoming more and more, everyday life. And they're quick to go, well, the kids today just don't want to work. They're lazy. And I'm like, you can't blame that shit on cannabis.
Shit.
You can't
Shit, screw you.
blame
the old people don't want to work. Their backs hurt. Shit, the old people don't want to work. Our backs hurt. We're done. No, it's not fucking cannabis.
They're quick to just still to this day just throw cannabis under the bus for shit like that.
They're so set in ways,
I even
man.
had to take it. Usually I'll walk away from a conversation like that, but man, today I was like, nah, you ain't going there. You ain't going there.
See, the comedy part of me normally wants to pull out my vape pen right about then, or be a twat and like stand 5 feet away and light up and do a normal freaking business day with the amount that I'm used to. You'd be like, huh? So somebody can fucking function on it. Huh, go figure. My knee doesn't hurt as much. I can actually get more work done. Hell, I can control my ADHD a little bit more. So, I can get all this fucking paperwork done, I guess. Fuck off. Fucking cannabis fucking helps or hurts people. Shit. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always that person that can't hold his tolerance. Like going back to that little old lady that I love that grew 2 plants. She knew exactly what she needed. She's like, I just packed my little bowl about halfway down and I'm good to go for the night. And I was like, okay, you can have that pain relief all day. And she's like, well, how's that? I was like, well, take that little half bowl, make a tiny little bit of butter, except a little bit more large scale because it's easier. Put that little bit of butter on your toast in the morning, just a tiny little bit, help you out with knee pain. She come back in saying, oh, I was gardening and yada, yada. It felt great. I'm like, fuck yeah. And it's going back to it.
I worked with a roofer at one point that unless you smoke pot, you weren't allowed on the roof. You were a ground guy if you didn't smoke weed.
I love my favorite job in the world was groundskeeping a golf course. I know damn well my boss knew how high we were. I know he didn't care. He was like, they mow grass. They smoke grass. Who cares? But we would get so much shit done. And we had secret paths drilled in the golf course that no one knew about that we'd smoke. Fucking all sorts of shit. It was the best job in the world. I didn't make the most money. Shit, I barely made ends meet all my life. Why not start, or why start then? Fucking, I enjoyed going to work because we'd have fun. It busted both worlds, support the family and have a little fun. But it was chill. I've done hard jobs. I've gone into it. I'm not even gonna lie. I've gone into factories. I've gone into factories lit, but I know my tolerance. I'm not gonna fucking cut my goddamn hand off. I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me play with that saw. No, the mundane shit is easier when you're a little baked. So
Thank you for that. I view them two things to be the same. Yeah, honest with you. I think you have to roof. You have to just, it's so fucking mundane. As you say, man, you have to smoke to just fucking make it somewhat fun, or you know what I mean? Just to get through it. And then same thing with kind of that factory. That's why I don't work. That's why I quit. I never tried the young. I gave it a quick whirl and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. They can't. I honestly thought they can't make a machine to do what I fucking do. You know what I mean? They can't. I mean, it's, some of them they were like,
And that,
man, you really can't find a chimp or something to do this shit. I got more important shit to do. You know what I mean?
that's the
I
thing. It's
can't
like,
do this.
and that's the thing. I've always been driven. Even when I go into factories, I always end up being something else. I'm not just the guy at the end of the line that's going nut, bolt, nut, bolt. I was maintenance. I've been operator, injection molding operator. Done a lot of shit with plastics. Like I always push myself and end up fucking it up or finding something better, or trying to focus on cannabis again, and ADHD takes hold, and life gives you changes. On to the next one. Shit happens. But I've always pushed myself, so it's like the mundane just does not work for me. So
Back to the roofer there, that owned that company. I asked him about it that day when we talked about that. I'm like, what's the fuck's up there? Because we were smoking on the roof, taking that safety meeting on the roof there. I'm like, so why won't you fucking have people that don't smoke weed up here and shit? He's like, believe it or not, out of all the people I've had work for me over the years, anybody that's gotten hurt on a roof has been a non-smoker. Guy that's fell off the roof, fucking this, that, every time,
well, that's just
non-smoker.
science,
I'm
Eagle.
like, well,
That's just science. If you're brave enough to get high and climb that ladder and get your ass on that roof, be that close to your boss, that close of an incline, you're one tough son of a bitch. You get up on that roof. That's fucking
that's
science.
a tough career there.
Oh, I know. I had a
not,
buddy that was.
It's not fun.
I had a buddy that was a roofer, and they kicked his ass. But
sad thing about that shit is, it's because of like, well, as we were hitting about earlier, man, fucking people don't want to work, and especially they don't want to work that hard. So, man, a square of shingles these days, especially if you're working for yourself, uh, pays pretty fucking well. Where it didn't pay so well back in the day, but now skilled or manual labor is definitely taking a huge turnaround because nobody wants to, sheer fact, nobody's skilled enough to do a lot of it, and the other fact, what nobody just fucking wants to do it. Everybody wants to choose an easier way around, and that was my point today with the younger generation don't want to do shit. I'm like, cannabis might play a small hand in that, but it wasn't the everybody wins shit. You know what I mean? We didn't make the kids as fucking lazy. The internet, didn't make them lazy. Fucking there's a long list, and cannabis should be the last on it.
I'm fortunate enough that anytime anybody says that to me, I literally have the one person that they can meet. My stepson has got a great work ethic. I don't know how the hell he got it. I don't blame or don't claim anything to it, but I gotta give him props to it. If he's listening, fuck you, go to bed. But he's got a great work ethic, and he's a pot smoker. So win. But yeah, it's, I don't know. A lot of people don't like. I think too many people have it set in their heads that they need to be a chief and not an Indian. I'm cool with the Indian. Like, I might see some cool shit. Might be the experience that I need. Maybe if it's not to get too spiritual, or whatever, big words. But maybe it's the universe that says, hey, humble yourself just a little bit. But no, everybody wants that top position. Everybody wants to be making like 18, 19 an hour. Minimum wage fucking went up. Yeah, pay people like McDonald's. A robot's going to make your sandwich. Thanks a lot. You fucked it up.
That's what that 15 hours gonna do. Well said right there. They're gonna go, okay, you want $15 an hour? Here comes the fucking robot. It don't want 15. Yeah, you nailed that shit, brother.
Oh, dude, I could have some fun and go down some rabbit holes just from my hyper fixations and sleepless nights. But Elon Musk says that every job in the world is going to be having it or robot. And he's like, well, we need to talk about global, wages. So they're already talking about, just paying everybody one lump sum. That's what you are. That's what you make. That's awfully weird. So nobody can make more. Nobody can make less. What the fuck? But let's push for that fucking McDonald's.
That's tragic. Fucking that just made me sick, to be honest with you, because it just went right back to what I said 5 minutes ago. Everybody wins. You've seen what it's already done, to that generation. And I'm not saying it's everybody, but I definitely think it did its damage.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And when I say that is it takes the drive out. If you just gotta show up and you get your paycheck, in a lot of cases, you're not gonna go that extra mile. You know what I mean? To get that bonus, or I mean.
When I was growing up, man, I was working 16-hour days. I was pushing myself because I was like, I got kids, I got a family. Yeah, my life is all about family. I love my family. They deal with a lot of my bullshit, so I got to give them props for that. But I was pushing myself. I was 16-hour days. I seen my kids 20 minutes a day. I wish to God I can get every minute of that.
I know you personally. I definitely can attest to that.
But yeah, it's fucking, I don't know. We got to slow down a little bit. But yeah, everybody's pushing for that 15 an hour, and shit's going to go too fast for a lot of people. And it's going to be funny when it all like, nah, that's what you gave us. Good job. But I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. The squirrel ran off with my thought process.
I'll take it. But I just think that when it comes to something like that too, I just think that's what it will become. Society as a whole will kind of just quit trying to innovate or whatever. If that's what you're going to get, that's what you got to settle for. I don't know. I think it will cap. It's really going to.
Well, it's
a lot of things.
I mean, even if you're okay with having that mundaneness of like you don't have a job, you can't really better yourself or your surroundings. Like, because I've always been one, try to push yourself better a little bit. I'm happy with where I am right now, so I'm good with it. There's always somebody pushing that button though. Who's made the robots? Who's making that money? And what's going to happen to human life when that happens? But that's going down some controversial rabbit holes. We're not doing it. So.
There's nothing too controversial here, but I don't know. I appreciate definitely showing up and doing the job. There's something to be said about just showing up, doing exactly what you're told to the best of your ability, and going home.
Yeah,
because I've been on the other end of that as well, and the long nights of trying to make the company work, extra phone calls, an extra 2-3 hours that don't pay, shit like that. When you went down that road, there's especially if it's just a temporary thing. You're just in some cases that's what it is too. It's a temporary thing. You just need it, one reason or another. It's nice to just show up and go, okay, what do you need me to do? All right, see you later.
Give me a list. You got the list? Okay. I'm gonna get this done right away. But yeah, it's that's life for you though, man. Different things, different times of your life, whatever you're ready for, wherever you're coming at, you know. Sometimes you can control it, sometimes you can swear from it, sometimes it's got you by the ankles and you're screaming, no more, boss. So
I try to avoid that circumstance. I don't want to yell no more, boss.
I'm pretty sure every working adult right now is going, I've had those moments. But yeah, we don't like them. Learn from them, but we don't like them. But yeah, man, it's life, man.
Definitely been some no more days. No more.
Oh, when I was working 16 hours, I get like 4 hours of sleep, 8 hours between clock out, clock in, try to spend some time with kids. Oh yeah. Yeah. So anyway.
Anyways.
Robot controlling McDonald's
again, now. So back to cannabis a little bit, I guess. So how come we got outdoors up here in northern Michigan? I can see your reservations, to be honest with you. It isn't necessarily just for what I consider um, because necessarily because of bugs. Man, there's just so much wildlife up here, man. This year in particular, man, as I drive around as spring, is springing. I'm wondering, man, did anybody fucking hunt this year? Because there's fucking abundance of deer up here and wildlife just running extra crazy. So that's one factor I don't know if I could handle up here, man.
That's a great thing about having a piece of shit car. The idea of, taking one out because I had to eat tag soup this year, pops in my head. And then the wife, comes in going, nah, don't do that. Fuck. Well, it's beautiful up here. And I told my wife, like, I would love to have a greenhouse set up because I would have more control. And be able to do a little bit better. Like one long living soil bed is my dream. Like it gets me schoolgirl giddy. Having a sub irrigation planter where I literally just fill up the reservoir. The soil is beautiful, add some top dressings and some cover crops every once in a while and just play with trellis netting and buds and soak in the fabric of my work. And my wife loves the idea because she sees that it makes me happy and then she loses herself after I've been talking for 5 minutes. Like every good wife, I guess. But yeah, and the greenhouse is where I think I would love it because then you can almost do light deprivation and beat the market by just a fraction. So, I mean, not talking black market. Shit. But no, I've done a lot of research.
That could apply to both, Yoda. That could apply to both. Oh, but hopefully not. But no, you almost have to up here, man. Northern Michigan winter comes fast up here and it lasts so fucking long. Fuck, it snowed just what, 2 days ago up here? After 80-degree days?
Oh man, my dog wanted out bright and fucking early because he's an awesome pet. His dog has to go out at 2:00 almost every day. Yeah, shit. And just convey the land. It's like, okay, you're safe. But 2 days ago with the snow on the ground. And then I'm sitting there chuckling when my wife went out later that night because she's a third shifter. And she's like, what the fuck is that? So, yeah, you almost have to. And I feel like what's the one thing that stops like a lot of cannabis people that could do beautiful things with just a few plants is the light bill. The greenhouse is the way to compensate for that. have that outdoor season. Don't get that huge plant. Put that black tarp over it and do a light depth. It's not that hard. A lot of people overthink it, and if you want to go into certain circles. Speaking of which, if Smiley's listening, I love it when you use big words. But they can go into real depth of greenhouse use and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think northern Michigan underuses greenhouses a little bit. Not to mention, I've had great quality stuff come from greenhouses. So, and fucking Amazon, $300.
That's pretty good deal. Well, fuck, man. I think Harbor Freight's actually dipping their hand into that realm as well, man. We just got one. Almost, I should have stopped in there today to see.
Oh, hell yeah!
Something along that line.
You want to go a little bit nerdier with it? Stop in the same Harbor Freight that probably does, in fact, have a greenhouse. If not, like a little, maybe 7x7 greenhouse that's a lot smaller than what you need. Get a solar panel kit from them. Run your fans on solar. Bam, less expensive.
Oh yeah. Shit, I've known a few people to just grow in one of the lighter colored like carports that they sell there.
Oh hell yeah. Oh yeah, I know a guy that I know one outdoor grower I was talking to for a while. He was like, yeah, I run it all the way up to like September 1st. And he's kind of in a swampier area. And he goes, after September 1st, I'll put it under the greenhouse. I'm like, or the carport. And he just got greenhouse plastic. Once again, Amazon, cheap as hell. Just know your depth or your diameter. If it's 2 millimeters thick, then don't expect, high winds. But just threw something together for after September and had a nice crop. So, I mean, you're rocking 24, 36 plants, a little harder to do that, but just a hobbyist freaking person like me having fun with it. Who cares?
Right on, right on. At one point, I hope to. It might be. I've talked about this a lot lately because of the circumstances. I may be trying to do a little bit of outdoor. Probably not up this way though, but at least I'm looking at it as a backup. I'm looking at it as a backup.
Oh, I mean, I've been getting into like the Giggle Pig that's going to be coming down soon. I really want to take like 3/4 of that entire crop and turn it into bubble hash rosin. I've never made bubble hash rosin. I've been researching the shit out of it. Try to keep my room cold. I know you used to do a bunch of episodes when you first started out making your bubble rosin in your big 20-gallon machine there. But that's what I want to do.
A deal on. Ah. Cheers. Thank you for
Dude,
that.
I wanted to help people. Like I always wanted to help people. If I could save somebody $2, I'll save $2. I wanted them to get to love that cannabis, and I don't know. So try to go back to the original topic. You ever think your brain works like Windows 98 sometimes?
All the time.
Fucking CDOS run shit over here.
I get a buffering screen all the time.
But yeah, I used to love hanging out with. But I want to be turning that into that and try the bubble hash rosin because I've been getting into concentrates. I don't know if you knew that. I know I was big against them. Turns out it helps me the most. Go figure.
Really? That's a nice little topic or subject right there. Oh, why do you think the exercise helped you a little bit more? I like again, a little bit of reservations about some extracts, but let's hear why do they have you think they work better for you than smoking or edible?
So it really goes back to patient by patient detail. Where knowing myself is the best patient. Um, because I kind of have more of an anxiety ridden personality. Um, say I smoke too much, it's releasing different. I love my smoke. I love the cannabis, so it's not like it's a problem. But edibles overdo it. There was just something with the speed that it came on. So I was like, okay, this is what's going on. Don't have to prepare for it. Don't have to overthink it. That kind of thing. And it was like my one biggest asset, or now asset, um, problem with trying the oils was I was going to ruin my flower tolerance, and I fucking did. Um, but now I can smell more or taste more terpenes because I don't get high as fast, I guess. Even though I can fucking pack it away. Uh, what's unemployment giving you? A really big fucking tolerance. We're going on a trip in our favorite piece of shit.
It's fucking
But
hilarious.
no, the funniest story I got right now is my first dab. Good friend of mine, I'll say that. I don't want to give too much detail. Uh Me being ADHD, it was this butter stuff. So all you dab guys can be screaming at me in YouTube. I can't read you how to make it, but I have no clue. It's just some different form of concentration. Uh he straight down to the ground, like instantly couch locks, felt great, whatever. Me, got up, started making tacos, sitting there chopping up tomatoes and shit, almost cut my finger off. I felt so good, so fast. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get shit done now. Bomb. Damn near cut my finger off. Didn't feel a thing. I was like, okay, bandaged it up, cleaned it again, bandaged it up, kept cooking. I felt great. So it goes back to, you just got to know, if you're trying to go for complete, pain freedom, maybe you need to dabble into the I took too much, maybe too many times.
So I kind of talk about like I don't know, I put shit together in a weird way, but uh, so what I just took out of our my assessment of what you just said basically is how dabs could you know for anxiety or something like that. It's the
it
same
actually
kind of
helps.
thing I view
It's
about like
more
the energy
concentrated.
drinks. Could it be like a fucking it's a mental like Ritalin for you? That raciness is
Yes.
just kind of burning up the excess and leaving you with, that calmness.
Yes. It's, I like slowing down. So it's a concentrated form. Smoking is great. Butters are great, edibles, because those help me more specifically with my pain management. And, like my knee always hurts, my back always hurts, that stupid shit from getting old and doing stupid shit when you were kids. But the different things and the concentrates, and I think a lot of people might be scared of them. But it's that concentrated dose. And okay, I know my body, I like sativas because or indicas because they'll bring me up, or stuff like that. Go for what you're going for. And it's easier to do that as a dab or, a pen even. So sometimes per patient, you might need that dab or something like that. Depending on what you're looking for as a patient, you really shouldn't be closed minded. And that's the beauty of, and it goes back to what we've been talking about all night and all year, all decade. It's just a beautiful fucking plant.
I agree with that. And again, I agree with your last statement, but I agree with what you were saying before that kind of the intent and what, it's all about the intent on how you're wanting to use it or what you're using it for. Um, but as far as like just kind of, outside of that, just talking, cannabis or cannabis medicine, I kind of, I, I've never really been on board with the hash rosin, to be honest with you. I think it's, to me, to be honest, and again, I think this is
Truthfully,
just
brother,
my opinion, my thoughts. Go ahead. Go ahead. You go
truthfully,
first, please.
the best. It's the only reason I want to make it is because so far everything that I've tried that tastes the best. As a medical standpoint, really can't say there's too much aside from just know what the fuck you're smoking. So I don't know. It simplest to make too comes a factor. All you need is iced water and a lot of patience.
Well, as far as the hash, though, we're talking, or I'm talking, hash rosin. You know what I mean? When I many times I've talked about making hash, I think it's there's more. I think it's more of a full body medicine, and I think it's more of a medicine. There's more plant matter
Fucking,
there
oh,
that
dude, you want to go down that road?
it's more full spectrum. If anything, I've kind of talked about like finding a way to capture what we've lost in the water and putting it back into my hash. Maybe as even I've talked about like freeze drying that water and like reapplying that product back into my hash through like maybe the Frenchy method, pressing it back in there, making it more of a full spectrum medicine. But when we're talking about like extracts and I think at some points where maybe like for yourself, where you're wanting that more racier, and again back to intent, you know what I mean? The having that racier end of it to kind of maybe as like we talked a little bit earlier, the Adderall or the Ritalin type effect where it's burning up the excess and leaving you in a more comfortable state. You want to pull the brakes out, you know what I mean? You want to pull some of that CBD and pull a lot of it out and leave more of a racy thing. But I think there's something
Oh
you
man,
just it's filtering. I think more if you wanted to, again, just my mindset, skip it and keep it a medicine. You want to for straight from the flower. To me, this is what I wanted to say, and again in a big circle, I guess. Before when you started there is, I think it's more of a sleight of hand thing, to be honest with you. That maybe even the rosin press company itself may have promoted, you know, uh, just to see that river of rosin come flying out of there to go, ooh, yeah. But in effect, man, it's more of a sleight of hand. You've already reduced it to get that river. You know what I mean?
oh yeah. There's gonna be a lot of factors, dude. You literally just look at LEDs in 2013 compared to LEDs in 2022. The way they advertised the shit was crazy. 1,000 watts, yeah, it's like that's 150 watt. It's fucking purple. Yeah, it's not bad, but it only covers like a half a foot. Cool. Okay. I need 30 of them. Awesome. Um, but yeah, I guarantee there's people out there just manipulating the system like that. And I mean, you went down one road in my head when you were talking about the plant material and everything else being medicinal. There are people that use the roots and teas. I love researching it, and I've jokingly in a coffee in the morning, I've thrown a couple leaves in there and just I'm a real gardener today. But not dabbled too much in it. But one guy was talking where they would use the plant material, not the cannabis, not the buds, but the plant material, and mix it with a couple different things, and that's what Jesus used. I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, dude, the medicinality of it is amazing. I don't know if that's a real word. Hooked on phonics worked for me. But then there was another topic I wanted to say. God damn it. I love your show, Eagle. Thanks a lot. Glad to be aboard, ladies and gentlemen.
I pause there. I thought I lost you. I'm like, there's another topic I wanted to talk about. Then there's that pause. I'm like, shit, did I lose him?
Nope. That little hamster in my wheel just had to take a break. His fat ass was overworked. There's a couple different topics that you wanted that. Oh yeah. But anyway, the medicinality of it, the cannabis is a beautiful thing, and I love researching it, talking about it. And that's one thing I love about your show.
You were talking right before that, like the use of roots and all that, outside of the normal use. And
and we're talking about, and you were talking about CBD. That's a beautiful subject, and I actually have, thanks to my wife, she actually bought a bunch of CBD, and I tried popping them, and I did not plan things out. I was so fucking super busy. I didn't notice it hurt. I was so upset because I was trying to do it indoor, and I so wanted to mix a little bit, just play with it a little bit, just because of the difference in medicinal qualities. Like, yeah, you might, love this 27-30% THC Monday, Tuesday, Friday, but in a balanced system, have that CBD in there every once in a while for this or that or that. So straight back to, I love meeting caregivers that actually take the time and will do different things for specific patients just because it helps them. Like, I'll do everything I can to help that freaking person grow. And when people would come into the shop and have that passion for it and sit there and understand, it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't just follow a fad and, go get a card just so I can look cool and smoke a whole bunch of pot, go to festivals, so that's really cool. And I try to help those people out as much as I could. So I loved having that job for as long as I did. Everything I learned in that place, no bad memories, whatever. It just was not in the greatest spot.
I definitely believe CBD has a lot of good uses. I think it's, I've said this a few nights as well, that I think, there should be at least one CBD strain in everybody's garden just to kind of go through, you know what I mean? There's a huge library of stuff that needs to be hunted on that side as well. And it'd be responsible.
The research that I would be lying if I said that I have done what I consider an appropriate amount of research on what they have done with the CBD plant. But I haven't. And even the little bit that I have uncovered is fucking is awesome. There were some studies out there doing shit for autistic kids. There was a point in my time where I was living on a couch at my buddy's house and his brothers were all handicapped. If something like that would have been able to help them have any kind of normalcy, shit, you best fucking believe it, boy. So yeah, I don't know. I think medically they need to just be given an unlimited amount of number. Like, figure out what the fuck you can do, buddy. Have fun. Holy shit, if I mix it with this, it can open up a wormhole. Fuck you. No, I'm joking.
It's well, you never know. But I think we should. That line here in Michigan's very fucked up. Very fucked up as far, and it ain't just Michigan, I think it's more and more as recreational enters that area. Uh, Medical cannabis tends to fall to the wayside very, very quickly on how it's
And
uh, research and all that good shit. As far as like caregivers, I mean, come on, here in Michigan, I talk about this all the time. Our hands are very tied on the amount of usable cannabis we're supposed to possess.
Yep.
But you go and you light up in another room, put your 12 recreational plants over there, and whatever you can produce, hell yeah, call somebody's over, fucking,
Yep.
fucking, you're good, man. Call that a medicine. You better fucking
And
burn 90% of that shit. Fucking,
and
you
that
know what I
opens
mean?
up the fucking
It
doorway
ain't
of,
right.
and that opens up the fucked up rabbit hole that everybody loves of the government knows everything about this fucking plant because they don't want us to fucking have it. So obviously, if you're a medical person, you know what it can fucking do. So they don't want you to have it. But you can go up to the goddamn grocery store and buy it for $5.99. Nobody. I don't know.
Thing, and as we talked about earlier, and as you're kind of implying, they knew in the 70s the power of
Exactly,
horticulture, what it
bro.
did for everybody, how healthy it was. So that's the next step is, they know there's, as we talked about, there's a lot of medical benefit in general to cultivating the side. So once they pulled out the plug on that, they're going to pull out the plug on the home grow,
The crazy,
and you can buy it
the
from
crazy
them.
shit in my head. The crazy shit in my head is our ancestors gave us this plant because you look up the Native Americans that used to have this. You look up the ones in Afghanistan that used to have it. Everywhere it grew that has a heritage. Look up their fucking heritage. They knew about it. They gave it to us, and we were like, "Oh shit, we can make money off it. Let's fuck it up." And we're so lost in the fucking system that we've forgotten more than we knew. So, yeah, it's crazy.
It never ceases to amaze me how far back that you can find cannabis. To be honest with you, it goes back. Hell, Egyptians. I found literature and videos to taking cannabis back to the Egyptians, and basically just hotboxing it. They didn't even smoke it like traditionally. They fucking hotboxed it. They got coals going and fucking just threw
Oh, dude.
plant planter on there, just sat in the room.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's this symbol mean on this pyramid? I think that's a Dorito. Um, but yeah, it's amazing the stuff that they used to do. Shamans used to do it way back in the day. And like I said, my buddy was talking about a biblical book that I don't know the name of it. I'm not even going to try to think just in case somebody comes after me or a reference. But they were talking about how they use it in a rub or his ointment that went on his body. So it's been around forever. And we forgot about it. And now we're trying to pay a bunch of white people that want money to, hey, tell me what this can do. Let us figure out what we can do. Just let us have the damn plan. So.
Well, I think that, we've known that. Well, there's plenty of evidence. They've known how what you could use it for, how well it works. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Moreover, as thanks to organics, I dived down that road and kind of went into like spirit plant medicine. I think it falls right into that category, to be honest with you, because when you read into that book, it talks kind of like forest bathing and being, as you go through the forest, being mindful of, each plant and being,
Oh, yeah.
observant to
That's
the ones that kind of call out to you, and making that bond. It kind of,
see, and I
can
and I
really,
always feel like
that type
energy.
of.
Yeah. It's Yeah, I fucking had a place to go.
Bro.
No, it's look at the research that they're doing on mushrooms. Being able to fix depression, fix anxiety, fix your brain. They don't learn that shit. They push fucking Dare to be off drugs. They're like, oh, you're gonna see wicked clowns, fucking all this other shit. It, there's rituals where they will not suggest it for you if you're the faint of heart. Like if you have but you can almost go outside of your own body kind of thing, and they use stuff from the earth. It's I love hearing those crazy stories about that kind of shit. But yeah, it's an amazing thing, and nobody ever fucking told us about it. They always told us fucking stay to be off drugs and follow this goddamn dog and hey, go to church. But whatever. So
all about control. At that point, they wanted you to fall in line and, take on their system. Same reason they're putting fluoride and other shit in the water today is so they can control the masses. I think.
Right, and
but I don't think that's
the problem. Is like the person that has their own cannabis plant is literally one step closer to being like, hey, fuck that shit. Just that little bit. So that's just another fucking reason why this is just the coolest plant. So
I think it's weird sometimes that again, this dipping into the conspiracy side of shit, of life and all that shit. I think Hollywood necessarily kind of soft, what is it called there? Kind of a soft release, I guess.
Oh yeah,
gives us a heads up on what's coming. And in this case, I think it was the movie Avatar. They're like, the microbes are coming, man. The fucking oh yeah.
But no, you just made me want to know the number of relatable stoner characters increase from like 1995. Just see because if they put more into shows, then they're more socially acceptable. My mind works crazy like that. I'm sorry.
So what are you trying to say? They're writing more towards cannabis understanding, or are they putting cannabis?
It's more money for them if they do. They're figuring it out, but they need to control it. It's how I feel anyway. That's why they don't like, you having more than what you're supposed to, because you actually know how to use it.
Maybe some truth there.
I don't know. My wife calls me crazy. I just I love her. But
man, that's the fuck, man. That's
crazy. Look at
not crazy.
Something I wanted to bring up.
I love personally myself. Sorry. I love the fucking cannabis and conspiracy theories, man. I'll kick around. I'll give you give me a joint,
dude, and most
a good fucking narrator. I'll kick around any conspiracy theory until that joint goes out. You know what I'm saying?
Most of your following are my people. Most of your following are my people, just because I know it. But look at and I know a lot more people that are watching your show will have a lot more information. But look at the healing properties earthwise of hemp. What would happen if they filled Chernobyl, the deepest, most I don't know what the fuck's going on now. I don't want to get into that. But nuclear waste places full with hemp. How many years until it's clean? Just keep doing it. Work the land, make sure, put Dr. Ingram involved in a whole bunch of fucking potheads, and we'll have some shit happen. Guarantee it. It cleans. Look, all the organics guys are gonna, attest to, when you want something in your soil, the best place to do it, putting cover crop in. Putting that stuff cleans your soil, makes more healthy. You really think the world fucking wants that? Oh shit, we could build houses, make it. Fuck you.
And I'm with you on that. You know, cannabis is definitely a bio remediator. Hemp, same. But what? But this is I've kind of kicked that around too. What do you do with it? What do you do with it at that point, though? I mean, do you take that harvested cannabis, you know, radioactive cannabis, and shoot that shit to the moon to fucking compost? Or you know what I mean? You've sucked it, the plant sucked it out of there. Where do you take it from there?
Right. But I mean, there's much greater minds than myself that can answer that question. Some guy in the back is going, "Oh, you do this," but and that's the thing is
Well,
like,
you know,
but what
I
if you
kind of
can
just thought
turn
about it.
50,000
So,
miles of unusable earth into self-sustaining, usable, giving some kind of healthy food, turn 80,000 acres into maybe 10 acres of unusable? What if you could do that? You want to go down a conspiracy level theory? The human nature is consuming. So if we can stop consuming as much, produce more than what we take, if we don't, we're fucked.
so I love these things. I love the power of cannabis right here. The power of the sesh, Yoda. The power of the sesh. So I think I have an answer for what do you do with the bioremediated toxic uh, nuclear active cannabis. What do you do with it? This is my solution. What do you do with it? You fucking extract that shit. You know, as you know, most of the time the nuclear when they're making, you know, nuclear plants and shit like that, that shit has to be harvested, right? They have to basically farm it, form it. You know what I mean? So why can't they take that harvested hemp or cannabis and extract that nuclear waste out of there and reuse it? You know what I mean? Reform it, refarm it. You know what I mean? Extract it, reuse it instead of, you know, necessarily.
So here's my thing. In that, would it be possible? And I'm not. You guys can all attest already. You've been listening to my jibber jabber for hours. Holy shit! Broken down into that form, and then broken down into that hemp form. Could something not evolve in time to break that down into a poof gone form? I mean, thinking about microbial life and everything else, I'm not saying it's going to happen in 10 years, 100 years, whatever, but, something could evolve into some kind of releasing that. Could it not?
I just laugh because I just kind of think of like the Dr. and Jekyll Hyde, you know what I mean? What we throw some microbes on it, we might not like what comes out the other side of that shit. They may have fucking feet, look like ants at that point. They might go from like microscopic to like giant ants and shit. Oh no, the microbes have been set loose.
This dude got some microbes from his buddy's house, turned into Spider-Man. But again, it's good tomatoes.
Oh shit! Gotta love
fucking diversity, shit. Motherfucker. All microbes are good microbes. Not really. I'm joking.
Be a good thing. You might want to smoke that Chernobyl bud. There would be fucking one snorter out there that would run out there to try to fucking smoke some of that shit.
That motherfucker gave me superpowers, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it's crazy shit to think about it. I love thinking about it. But
you never know.
I use, people don't realize that the cleaning power, like some things can do, like my raised beds that I built outside are normally used with my old soil. My girls love sunflowers. Sunflowers help clean the soil a little bit. So I'll grow some sunflowers in there for them. They get some seeds every once in a while. They get to see some pretty shit. You know, I like talking to people that understand, the soil food web, so to speak, and how, I don't know, everything helps. It's cool.
So I guess let's kind of slide back to the extracts there. I didn't want to discourage or whatever, but I'm glad to see you kind of slide into making your own extracts and heading down that route.
Oh, I hated myself for how long it took, man. Hated it. I got one buddy that I used to work with. I'm not gonna call his ass out, but I seen his text earlier that I was on your show. He's actually one of the few people that I consider a friend, just because I am just a weird loner person. But yeah, he helps me with the extracts all the time. He's wanting to fucking smoke with me. Fucking told him we're into it. Fucking never get around anymore. But yeah, I hated myself for how long it took me. I never wanted to give up that tolerance for flour. I was like, no, I'm a cheap date. I'm cool. Yeah, well, no, you're not a cheap date, and but I get to experience so much more. I like it. It's, you can even talk about convenience. Just running up to do a dab, it does not take that long to roll that joint nicely, make sure it's got, nice smooth. Don't get me wrong, I love smoking cones. Half time I've always got one rolled up, but when you're on the go, it works. And my kids will attest to me, I never stop moving half the damn time. So but yeah, I've been trying different things, man, because it's another one of those things where, okay, now I'm going to create the plant by playing around with this, that, and the other thing. And I'm going to love all the people that are so much, more intelligent, going, no, don't do it this way, stupid. Probably going to fuck it up in one way or another. Just let it happen. Doing the breeding, but then I can take it and go, okay, I might be able to form this type of rosin that, the terpenes are so great on that one, and it helps me with this, and create something that way. Like I said, creative personality. It just, as long as I don't fight it, it normally does cool shit.
Don't fight that creativeness. I agree. You never know what it would take you.
It's just find where your footing is, and that's it. Like, this is the direction we're going to go right now. All right.
So when you made that slide into the extracts, one of the things I don't like about dabbing is, that end of it is just that the clumsiness, the whole. That's a whole other thing. I kind of lean towards it in the beginning for the quick and convenience of it. But then when I started, dabbing more and more, it wasn't no longer quick and convenient when I'm spending fucking 5 minutes cleaning that bitch before. You know what I mean?
I got this seahorse. Fucking, I'm hitting rips off the fucking seahorse and feeling all fancy because I've got an electrical device to do it. And yeah, and then I look like a bitch. Just what's wrong with him? I think he's dying. Daddy's dying. But yeah, it's definitely not that convenient when your tolerance goes up, for sure. But it's keeping in that mind of don't go too high, whatever, where you like to be. I don't know. Different strokes, different folks, different times a day.
How do you like that seahorse?
That's a dangerous motherfucker right there. Whew. The convenience of that shit, that'll make you staring at the lady at the bank thinking you're at Taco Bell. That's the convenience alone. It's a beautiful thing. Cleaning, it's not too bad. A little bit of a bitch, but great price. I love the 3 controls for temperature. Get my low temp dabs in, get tasty, get my high temp dabs in, going, shit, I'm almost to work. But yeah, I loved it, man. Best 50-something bucks I ever spent. Fucking
Good to know.
I know there's gonna be a lot of talk where what is that one thing? It's got great terpene, whatever. I don't know. There's another product that's like $200, $300, and it's supposed to be one. But I spent $50. What's that?
Yeah, I had that tip of my tongue when I scrolled there too. I can't even think about it. The Dabco.
Yeah, shit like that. But yeah, you can fight that fight all along. I spent 50 fucking bucks. I'm happy. It wonderful product.
Good to know. Because I'd still do like to dab, but I just don't,
Like truthfully, for like a dude like you having something like that you can rig up a fancy necklace, charge that bitch up, walk around those festivals or whatever, everybody's got a dab a hit, all right, whatever, and you're not putting your mouth to shit, that sounds dope. And there's a bong attachment, so that's crazy. And you can actually sit there and touch the pen to the bong and hit it through the bong so it's filtered. For you, I don't know, man.
I tried that shit, fucking mowing the grass and shit. I tell you what, I didn't get the nice grass. I didn't get the nice fucking mowed lawn that I usually. That makes me fucking laugh as I argue the fact of like working in cannabis, but I guess like leisurely mowing my lawn and fucking jamming my headphones and hitting my dab pen as I mow the lawn are 2 different things. Because there's many times as I puff on that thing, then go back and look at the lawn. I'm like, God,
you got every
dad all over that lawn.
Every dad in the chat's like, no, blunts or joints for mowing the lawn. Those get the crisp lines. No, not do that damn shit when you're mowing the lawn.
Oh man. Well, yeah, it depends on who you're asking. They're pretty convenient. Although I do like a good fatty for the blonde as well, but
the right patient
just hitting that pen.
The right patient just wants to get from 0 to 100. Fucking hit that as long as they want, and then every 45 minutes to an hour doing manual labor, they want to, take another little rip, whatever. That seahorse works great for that. So I know when I'm middle working hard in my yard, I will get so high that the kids will come up and go, hey, what are we doing? I'm like, is it Thursday? What? Who are you? Like, I got weeds. Get up. Yeah, it just helps me keep me going when I'm doing manual labor. So
do you have a dab or a rosin press in mind, in particular model or brand?
I have not. The prices of them scare me because I'm particular. Like the good buddy that I used to work with, he is offering once I make bubble hash that we're gonna get together. He's, I'm gonna give him some. He didn't even have to say that. I was like, dude, I'm gonna give you a bit, like more than you think that I'm gonna give you shit, just for helping me out. But he's got a press. I'm not sure which one, so we're gonna make the rosin out of that. So it's gonna be cool. See a buddy for a minute and do some shit. He's had so many different extraction systems. Like, I don't know. He likes to joke around and say that I'm, his every time he sees me, fucking master grower or whatever. But he's the fucking extract guy. Like anytime I ever had a question, it's him. So, we're gonna get together. But the press is just, I would want one where I can set the pressure, so I can control the pressure, so I can write down my results, going, okay, this gave me this return, this gave me that return. And I would need one for temperature, so I can write down, all right, this temperature and this temperature. And I feel like that process would be so fucking long. And going over to a buddy's house that knows what the fuck he's doing, and smoking up with him and having a good time is a little bit better. I don't know. So fuck buying a press for right now. I'm not pressed on it. They're too much.
Oh, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It sounds like a better day anyway. So
It's yeah. You've been, you remember, what them hours are like, mixing the fucking bubble hash and then the fucking press, and after that, fuck that, I'm gonna go have some fun with it. I mean, if I'm making so much that all three of my tents are rocking out, I add another tent or whatever, blah blah blah, get back into my rotation of every 2 to 3 weeks pull down, maybe I'll look into one. But other than that, I'm just gonna chill.
I've almost made the extract side of things not so appealing for myself because of as you say, it is sometimes washing can be a lengthy process. Sometimes it's always a lengthy process,
Dude,
at least for me. Because, but I've let material bank for so fucking long. When I know when it's time to bust out that machine, I know I've got a load of work to do. So I'm kind of.
And here's where I'm going at it, Eagle. Here's where I'm going at it. I'm setting up trash cans, and I'm gonna sit there, and I am going to hopefully have some mushrooms by the time. I'm gonna zone the fuck out, do it all manually, and everything is gonna be going straight through my sump pump, so I'm not dealing with bending over and picking up buckets and shit. It's all going in a 20-gallon wash, and I'll wash it 2 or 3 times and be done with it. The 5-gallon will have a drain on the bottom of it, so I can dump 20 gallons through a 5-gallon strainer nice and slow, as my apprentice sits there and spins the shit. So I'm trying to develop a system all my own that's chill. It might not be the best, it might not be the biggest yield, but it's going to be chill. And it's going to be so time consuming. I feel that I'm definitely going to want to take some mushrooms and just enjoy that journey. Mundane shit, add mushrooms. Have fun.
I definitely like that idea of having the sub pump right there to extinguish, but it's at the same aspect of it. Man, that shit fucking is so very beneficial for like shit just throwing out in the lawn and fucking or just feeding your cannabis plants, man. I found that it really will help spike your terps.
Well, thanks for opening up that gateway, Eagle. I gotta fucking look that up. No, actually, that's not a bad idea. Because technically, if I'm just draining it out, I can set something up where I just store it and then bucket it upstairs into my lawn or some shit, or I can just fucking do it in my garage. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Fuck.
It's everything your plants love.
If my wife is listening and I start building shit, no. Yeah. So that's actually not a bad idea, and I'd love to see what it could do. I got brown spots in my yard all over the place. I'm a horrible dad. For all you Nike white tennis shoe wearing dads with the stripes in your yard, I envy you because I've worked at golf courses, but fuck, I can't achieve that.
But that's funny you kind of say that because I've always joked about my lawn or my area kind of fucking is a telltale because of fucking when I moved up here that I had that very much almost no to northern Michigan lawn there where mainly sand, you know what I mean? Very thin lawn. Didn't necessarily have to mow a whole lot. I moved in and fucking started dumping cocoa and shit out in the yard. And, you know, you drive down my street, everybody's got that like thin, sandy lawn, and then you get to my house, and they're like, that dude's actually got some more of a lawn.
Yeah, mine is work in progress. I just found out that one place in fucking Houghton Lake exists where you can get free compost. Do I trust what's in it? No. But will it go on my yard so I can grow some grass? Fucking sure. But yeah, I got tons of fucking sand everywhere and drop brown spots. So
So are you gonna dive down that? How deep are you gonna? You think you'll find yourself diving down the organic trail? I know myself when I thought about it or even considered it. I know sometimes when I get into stuff, I tend to go, you know, all in. And one of the reasons I was always has my reservations about the organics is I'm afraid at one point there will be you know, there'll be a bucket for worm castings, there'll be a bucket for Bokashi, this will get recycled, this will be
oh yeah.
compost, and anybody that lives with or near me will be like, fuck you, dude. You see, I ain't doing that.
See, yeah, that my wife will laugh at me. She says I work in extremes, I guess. But when I do, want to do something, I do get fucking extreme, dude. I've been in the probiotics group when they've talked about using dog urine and people urine and people feces and yada yada yada. I'm like, all right, there's my close line. Like, I can understand why you're doing it. Am I gonna do it? Probably fucking not. Would it help my lawn? Something I'm not eating? Fuck yeah, cool as shit. Whatever. For my cannabis, I would love my dream right now, and I know it's easily accessible. A lot of people are like, oh, that's not that fucking hard. I would like a couple fucking like my entire grow pretty much going on sip container, raised bed, living soil, complete environment systems that I have very minimal input. Like I said, a little bit of cover crop here and there, some composting, be all sorts of special about it, but self-sustaining. Like, that would be a goal. If there's a bigger world beyond that, yeah, awesome. Maybe I'll nerd out about it, maybe not, but right now that's where I would go. Yeah, there's some shit, like I said, probiotic, people, dog, cat, urine, feces, that kind of crazy shit. But, going out in the nature and grabbing what it does, utilizing that, ain't nothing wrong with that. But no, my buddy used to make Bokashi. He made a 5-gallon bucket. I used to work at Jimmy John's, and I got him a whole bunch of those pickle buckets. He drilled a whole bunch of holes. He would put every single kitchen scrap he had. So he had 2 buckets, one inside the other. One would collect the liquid that came from it. Had a tap on it. It was really cool. He'd put meat scraps in it, all sorts of shit, and sprinkle Bokashi on it, and they would just drip down into it. And, I'm sure everybody that's looked into Bukashi's heard about it. So, but yeah, he'd break down meat and then he'd feed that to his plants. I was like, no fucking way. You can break down meat. Yeah. And the process was a lot quicker, and it was just really, really cool to think about. It's like just on a waste level. And if you're using that for your plants, that's my end game, making its own food or cool fucking additives.
Yeah, that's been a wild road right there. And again, organics is a fun topic. Not only, it's very insightful on how you grow your plant, but necessarily how shit correlates with you, and directly. And so one of those revelations for me has been sugars. I until I went deeply down into, organics, my most I ever gave a shit about with sugars was my intake, diabetes worries and shit like that. Too much sugar is bad for you, blah, blah, blah. And you get into organics and necessarily want to understand how the plant works, and you figure, well, fuck, sugars have a huge play throughout the whole system. And where I found it was scary was like in the bokashi like setup, man. 5 pounds of meat, brown sugar. Come back in a fucking day. That should be a gel. And I'm like, oh no, sugar. So I don't know, man. It's crazy how, shit correlates back and forth between plants, organics, and you. It's a weird cycle.
Oh, absolutely. It's beautiful seeing how it all works. And, you know, we were all that stoner kid in the freaking high school that, is like, yeah, teacher, go ahead and spew your shit about this, that, and the other thing. Sorry, stepping outside. But yeah, now we're finally understanding it, and it's all breaking down to figuring out. It's like, oh, it's all tied back to this, and this, and it's like, oh, you're putting that in your body too. Oh shit. So it's pretty cool how one little freaking plant that makes you giggle can open up completely different worlds.
It is too, man. It's a hell of a ride. It's ever shaping too, because every time I think I've hit a plateau and maybe possibly bored with the plant, something comes along to reinvigorate me with my cannabis journey. It being, breeding, hash making, podcasting, yada yada yada. There's always been something new to make me kind of fall back in love with the plant.
Oh, absolutely. It's conversations, you know, you're doing research of it, you're taking time out of your day that you're doing anything else. It shows the love to have. And I'm really hoping that the next generation doesn't lose that. It's not just about the buzz, it's not just about the bud. The fucking plant's pretty fucking cool too, man. Check it out. But we'll see how it goes. So if you hear a lot of yelling, my dog likes to chase a possum that likes to terrorize my yard. So
Get that some bitch. Eat it.
oh, he's the weirdest fucking dog. Like I said, he likes to come out here and just check the perimeter and shit like that. And he's seen a possum. He grabbed it by the neck, shook it like 3 times. And like, I thought, okay, he's not going to let this animal up. Nope. Let it up, come sit by my lap. I was like, okay. 5 minutes later, possum ran the fuck away. I was like, no shit. Cause I know they're ugly, but whatever, but they are part of an ecosystem. Like I hunt deer. That's my ecosystem. Damn thing was just trying to get some food. So not too big of a deal.
He sat back and was like, he's been warned.
He has not come back, dude. I've seen something that looked that large because there's a big ass possum down the road. He has not come back. That and that raccoon that kept coming in my goddamn garage or my garbage. Fuck you. So I don't know. He's goofy dog, but we all got our companions.
Raccoons can be a fucking crazy, man. Glass house, man. I had a bout with a crazy raccoon that found his way in through like a porch soffit and made it into the house. So basically, he found his way into the porch soffit and was able to get in between the first and second floor. You know what I mean? Uh, just went through the floor cavity right there and found his way right to the pantry, which just happened to have a drop ceiling in it. So he had found his way correctly into the house on a couple of times and was very not fun to deal with. Yeah, they can be very, very feisty. I do not suggest warning.
Oh, sorry. Had to yell at the dog for a sec. No, those raccoons are not anything to play with. I remember I went up north one time. We went up to the UP, beautiful country. Anybody out of state that has not come through Michigan to at least see the UP once, do it. But we were up there baiting for bear because he was a bear hunter. And there's a raccoon that came in because we did some fishing, got some perch and stuff like that, and we skinned them. We're frying them up. Bigger raccoon than our golden retriever at the time. Just a huge monstrosity. And they all just kept throwing shit at him, trying to hide behind trees, trying to get this one raccoon that was just brave as shit. They will fuck you up.
Oh yeah, they definitely will. You know what's funny is to make this story funnier is I ended up cornering that fucker and thinking I had to laugh because I'm like seeing it in my own head. And hopefully you guys think it's this funny too. Fucking basically, so
dude, I've seen a dad in panic before,
this,
and that's what I'm imagining.
oh man. So no, we've had we know there's a stray animal getting in the house, okay, but we haven't caught it yet. We don't know what the fuck it is, right? Okay, so we happen to be watching TV this night, and we hear a little something, and I'm like, nah, you guys are crazy. Yeah, yeah. So, and sure enough, we fucking hear a little bit of noise, and they're like, there's something in the fucking pantry. Something in the fucking pantry. And I'm like, no way, it's in there. You kind of hear it. We've got bifolds. It's a 4 foot opening. There's 2 sets of bifolds there. And you can hear it kind of like gently, bumping up against the bifold door. Oh shit, it is in there. I'm thinking, what the fuck you gonna do? You know what I mean? So I have, a couple options here. So I'm not gonna go get the shotgun. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna open the fucking blow a hole through my fucking wall for whatever animals in here. So I'm thinking gun is not my necessarily first option. Oh, he's gone. Some bitch. Hopefully he comes back. I'm gonna give him a couple seconds to see if he comes back before I finish this thing. All right, you're back. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me, Yoda?
Yeah, I got you, Eagle. Whew.
So, what I fucking think I'm gonna fucking do, stoner moment, like I'm fucking Robin Hood or some shit. I think I'm gonna fucking grab the crossbow. I'm gonna fucking take this bitch out. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be racist,
idea.
but I just came up with a think of Chinese stone-eyed eagle coming after some shit with some crossbow.
So obviously I miss and now have What I lesson learned here. You ain't got time to reload a crossbow when a fucking raccoon's chasing you around your fucking kitchen. So yeah, raccoon wins round one.
We call that dad panic. We call that dad panic because we went in with such ferocity and just I know this will work attitude, and when it doesn't, we squeal like bitches. Oh
Yeah, it was quite the entertaining moment there. That's for sure. One of the moments I'm glad my fucking kids didn't have cell phones in hand and ready.
I fucking know, right? Oh, I know, right?
Those kids.
Yeah, I love my wife. She's really adamant. Every year we go up, we do something. This year we were hoping to go to Virginia, but it's looking like it's not. We spend time outdoors. We get them, put that shit down. So they're young one day. They might like throwing a rock at a tree and accidentally banging their sister in the head or whatever out in the middle. Later on, they just remembered having fun out there. So that's the goal anyway.
Cell phones definitely made me grow up some. I'm definitely a very big kid at heart still. But man, as my kids grew up and had gotten cell phones, it became very quick with that fucking recording, man. I stopped being a little less silly all the time because I was fucking very much afraid of being the next fucking meme doing something fucking stupid around the house and shit.
I just my kids know better to put me online. But no, I love doing crazy shit. Like there's a lot of times where I will purposely missay words to piss off my wife just to give the kids something to laugh at. She hates me for it, but I love doing that crazy shit. You would never see my ass online though. But yeah, I love it when my kids just. I got 2 kids personally that love the fucking outdoors. Like you can put them outside, no shoes on. I swear to God, you teach them how to meditate, and they will be whatever. But really earthbound children, and I love that about them. And like it's really admirable. And the other ones still love being outside too. So at least that gets to keep going on in their generation time.
Good cheer for them on that, man. I look back at my childhood and like versus today's, and I'm glad. I'm 100% glad I didn't have a cell phone when I was growing up. To be honest with you.
I was like, me and my wife's, end game after retirement is roam around the country, get a houseboat for a while, see shit. Don't necessarily have the biggest bag of shit. So, nature is kind of a thing that we've always loved teaching the kids because we've loved it. So, one day they'll get to go traveling one day, or I don't know. Hopefully they're not behind screens all their life.
You're gonna fucking. I want to see somebody living the dream that you're talking, but rig up like a greenhouse on top of your traveling home there. That would be fucking awesome to see. Some.
Oh, brother, have you seen the shit? Have you seen the shit that they can do with school buses? That would be easy as hell to do. Cut off the top of that motherfucker. Put the tops of the plant would be the only thing hanging out of it, catching the sun's rays all day, chilling. You just have a couple pots on a shelf.
Yes, it'd be even just as cool just to have like a pull behind. Oh, that'd be fucking awesome. Like a pull behind fucking greenhouse.
I would have to have a VW bus pulling it. You would have to have the hippie VW bus pulling it, or else it would mean nothing to the joke.
Man, I can't. I think they would love it.
Oh,
The same moving around angles of the sun and shit. I think they would be happy as hell.
I think there'd probably be a couple weeks that they'd be like, "Hey, what the fuck?" But yeah, it's a plant that sees
Shit, you
America.
never
That's
know,
fucked up,
man.
dude.
The,
All right, I want to see one of Eagle's followers take one plant to every 50 states.
kind of like a what was it? A flat Stanley plant. kind of
Yep.
just fucking take pictures of it everywhere. This is
Yep.
me and my plant at the Grand Canyon. This is me and my
It says,
plant.
"Welcome to Missouri. Welcome to Missouri. Welcome to freaking Florida." I want to see it. That'd be awesome to see. No, but we've talked about it all the time where we'd like to. There's some really cool stuff that you can modify vans and buses and just travel. So
I think it would fucking. I think I really like the idea of like the fucking the pull behind greenhouse there. Fucking just glue some pots to the bottom of that motherfucker so they ain't rolling around.
modify
The
a pop
G
up.
force and shit may bring out something we ain't never seen and shit. You know what I mean? Drive that bitch around the fucking racetrack for 12 hours a day and shit.
The gorilla growers are going
The
shit right
turps.
now. The gorilla
Fucking
growers
racetrack turps and shit.
No, modify a pop up. It's already got a hitch on it and everything else. There you go.
You
Most of
know
them have
how
AC.
popular fucking. How would you do that? How would you like the truckers had the arm movement where you get them to honk the horn, but what would you do is you fucking see the pull behind greenhouses pass and shit.
Yeah, like whoever's driving to follow that motherfucker, he's got the good shit.
That seems like that'd just be a fucking stoner traffic hazard right
You
there.
know damn well you would end up on the news.
Did I just what?
You would end up on the news. I guarantee it. That'd be awesome. Be like the Forrest Gump of he ran across state. No, he drove across state with a working greenhouse. Plant seen every state except for Alaska because nobody likes Alaska. No offense, I love Alaska.
Be so awesome.
That would be cool as shit to see.
Somebody's got to do it. That'd be fucking awesome.
That better end up on somebody's bucket list, and they better fucking forward me the email.
I bet you'd get away with it in a lot of states just because they wouldn't know how to handle it. Shit. I don't know. We don't.
I mean, truthfully, if you did everything right
for this yet.
Truthfully, if you did everything right, you know, did right steps and paid off the right pockets, it's doable. But think about it in maybe 10, 15 years. That'd be cool as shit. If every state went legal and didn't give a fuck and they're like, whatever, we're just done giving a shit. It's a plant that makes you giggle. But that'd be cool as hell. I remember smoking this in a back alley.
Man, that would definitely that would definitely make some of the mobile home parks look a lot cooler, I guess. See everybody just pulling. That would be a fucking cool ass event right there. Everybody pull in with their fucking RV and their pull behind greenhouse. And
so somebody needs to patent this idea and then sell it to better the environment. You'll make billions. There you go. Thank you, Eagle. Send him a check.
I'll take it to okay.
Eagle's like, shit, I was just smoking, talking to this weird dude, and I got a check. Oh, that's awesome.
Make it happen.
So yeah, that would be cool as hell to do, man. It should be like I went to every state and met every person that was okay with meeting a random stranger on the internet. Eagle fan. That'd be a cool message board. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Eagle.
Campground ever.
Eagle.
What's that, brother?
Remember a while ago you gave me 5 seeds of sangria? I finally got around to popping them.
I like it.
I got 3 of them bitches going. They're like 8 inches tall, so I don't know yet.
Youngins.
But that one's going to be an interesting one. Because anybody that's looking for a nutrient line, I've been running Cutting Edge, and it's actually fucking pretty decent if you don't care about bottle shit. Good flavors, easy to use. I know that dude that you were talking to the other day about Nectar, and he's all about his flavors. You know, I ran that shit for years, and dude, that many fucking bottles, that many price, and you're always getting pulled. Like, I've got nothing to say about the line, but you're always getting pulled. It's like, that's too much shit, and it's still a bottle. Yeah, it taught me a lot of cool shit about organics, because they do use organic methods. But yeah, anyway, I switched over to a couple different things because stopped giving a fuck as much and having great results. So
sometimes I debate that as well. You know, how much can you really dump into your cannabis? You know what I mean? And still be feasible.
well, I'm also not out here.
Actually go out purchase the shit. You know what I mean? You're gonna dump out, you know, an outrageous amount of money into inputs, CO2, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I don't know at that point. You know,
It's all about what you're comfortable with. It's all about what you're comfortable with. I love Nectar. I've got nothing bad to say about Nectar. It's just too much fucking money right now. But if I want to go my organics, I'm gonna go all or nothing. You know, I'm gonna put a bunch of money into it, and until I have a bunch of money to put into it, you know, I'm not going to waste my own time. I will kick myself in the ass every damn day if I go, yep, I knew I should have bought that $30 bag. Whatever, fuck off. But
so you know, again, so what do you think? You found a better replacement? Do you think other things work as good? What do you think?
I'm not saying better.
What do you think of the 2 parts? The dry amendments. What are your thoughts there?
There's pros and cons to all of it. It's yin and yang. You know what we've been talking all night: good side, dark side, whatever. But I personally feel like outdoor organics is the way to go, especially if you're not doing under a greenhouse. What happens when you get rained out? I mean, yeah, you just flushed out a lot of salts. Awesome. Hopefully those salts didn't go into your fucking ground and kill that spot. But, you know, you're going to have to feed again. You might have deficiencies and, you know, slow of growth. The plant can't do what it wants to do at that particular time because, hey, it's been raining for 3 fucking days. How are you going to feed, you know, a plant unless you build something, which some growers don't want to really do? But how are you going to feed it when it's still raining through the pot system? So why not organics where it can use it and still break down once the rain stops, you know, continue doing what it's doing. I think if you're doing commercial that you kind of have to do, you know, the bottle, just because you can have better control, so to speak. Okay, I want you to do this and I want you to do this, but it's a cool way to look at what you can do to it. Just like the organic, when the plant wants to do. If you look at, like, I just watched a web episode of Dr. Ingram, and literally she stated, yield will come when, you know, all the bacteria and all the microbes are right in the soil and everything's balanced. And, you know, when you have a perfect system, it's interesting to see what the plant will do on its own like that. So I like seeing both ways. I don't mind seeing it. I'm also not here pushing, you know, 31, you know, or 3.1 EC all day, every day, you know, hoping for the biggest and brightest, and then, you know, just pushing it all the way to the end, chopping down, and then going straight to jar. So, you know, I try not to push, you know, too high of ECs. I like the plant to do what it wants to do. You know, I will push a little bit here and there, but The one thing, running Nectar taught me is I love pushing calcium. Smiley can come at me and go, well, why back me up some scientifics on it? I don't know. Shit smells good. Tastes good. Plant seems to like it. So that's what I like to do. So when, the nutrient line that I'm running now came in and said, well, we like to push calcium. I'm like, oh, you have my attention. I'll give it a try. And they gave me a free sample and I tried it. I'm like, not bad. All right, let's see what I can actually do when I'm giving a shit. So I don't know. I like running experiments. Maybe that next thing is what's going to do. Maybe that extra amino acid is what's going to take. Just Smiley's, episode last night about the fulvics, the aminics, or the aminos and everything else. I'm probably going to get some full power and stuff like that to incorporate with some of my foliar sprays, which I don't necessarily tend to do too much. So I don't know. But it definitely fucking made sense. That's for sure.
So I know why I kind of have my reservations about the foliage sprays, but it sounded like you had a few yourself. Why don't you actually?
I think it stems from just I'm going to do it wrong. I'm going to do it at the wrong time of day. I'm going to do it at the wrong time of night. I'm going to spray too much. I'm going to spray too little. I'm not going to spray the right areas. Like I do with my IPM, and I just coat because that's the only thing my head really thinks. Coat. So I don't know. I've watched so many damn web episodes now of how beneficial they are and when to do it and everything else. Like I'm confident that I could get benefit from it, but I don't know. Just not really too much calling, I guess. Like I don't really have too many problems. Like knock on wood. I just try to focus and keep an really close eye on my environment. All of my tents have separate exit ports. So, fresh air comes in. Hey, fuck you growling. Apparently there's a ghost in my house. But yeah, just try to keep an eye on that and, know what, don't contaminate, don't go out walking in the rice fields and come back in and go, I'm going to stomp through my cannabis. But yeah.
For me, it's just necessarily the fear of, putting more moisture in the air, creating, possibility for mold, PM,
and that's
shit like that is why I don't.
And that's another thing. If you really want to talk technical, it's like, what is this bacteria or, anything else? What is this going to chancely do? And that's my what if does take over my brain a little bit too often. So I'm like, well, I've gone this far without. Rory, the ghost can't kill you. Sorry about that.
Did you just say the ghost can't kill you?
Oh, yeah. I'm confident there's a ghost that lives into my house.
What kind of ghost? I'm curious. Male, female, old west? Do you have a feel for it?
My wife is the one that is more empath. Am I saying that right? I don't know. She feels it's a child. So, but I don't know. There's one that likes to mess with us. They'll open drawers, do weird shit. There was one at the shop. We had to walk in every morning and say hi to it, or else it'd throw shit off the shelf.
I think there's a lot of hollow ground up here in northern Michigan. I know there's a lot of blast hills that I found when I moved up here. That's for sure. Few ghost towns real close.
So yeah. I will say this. Even though my wife is, what would you know? Sorry, my dog thinks he can jump on my lap right now. But I have always felt a connection to Native American mythology, ancestry, stuff like that. The farther north I get, I feel more at home. And I think there's more tribes up here and shit. But I don't know. And then you're going into a lot of other spiritual shit that that could be a whole nother episode.
And I definitely believe there's a little something going on what's up here for sure, man. I know there's places up here, man, where the woods are still so fucking thick, man. If you actually step off the road, man, fucking just not see somebody standing there and shit. So
think I think more when you're up here, you kind of connect to nature a little bit more, and you're able to kind of open yourself up for different frequencies and energies and kind of things. Look at empaths and the clairvoyant people. If I don't know if anybody believes in that kind of thing. They're more open to it, and they can tell you almost what a energy's name is and what happened and yada yada. I fully believe in that kind of thing. I believe a lot of people bullshit, but I don't know. I just feel like being out in nature makes you more connected to it. So by connecting to nature, almost like Avatar, you're connecting to its history. You know what I mean?
for sure, for sure. Have you ever journeyed up to around some of the ghost towns up here in northern Michigan? Though I mean, there is a few.
Oh, I had a couple buddies that used to like to ghost hunt. I used to live up in Manistee, and I was living on the guy's couch for a little while. And he used to talk about how he'd go up ghost hunting in houses, and they went down this house, and it was hard to get down the stairs. I can't remember why he said it was, but the big guy was in the back. They got down the stairs, and there was nothing but this long hallway, and this half goat, half human looking at him at this hallway. And it started running at him, and the big guy got stuck going up the stairs. But they finally got out, and like a couple months later, it was just the whole house was gone. Like nobody remembered what happened to it. And I was like, what the fuck? So it was pretty crazy shit.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fun history. I definitely have smoked a few. That's another thing. Cannabis and ghost hunting there. Fucking have definitely rolled down a few trails smoking. And, did you see that shit?
Right.
Your mind can wander away in the woods up here when you're smoking and shit.
Oh, and that's what actually I want to do this summer is like I would love to go to a waterfall. And I know who was it the other night talking about mushroom trips and stuff like that. I'd love to take one of our UP waterfalls. Me and my wife go every year. We take the kids, see as many as we can see on the road. My wife swam in one. It was funny. But that would be cool as hell to ground yourself at one of those waterfalls and just wherever your mind takes you, follow it. See what happens. Fucking end up in Munich trying to climb the fucking bear. I found Sasquatch.
I don't know. Do you think there's some? Do you think there's actually some crazy stuff running around these here woods? I know I've wondered a couple of
times. I believe it's possible. Depending on how deep you go, like there's no possible way that something can't be hiding. I would hope that not Americans, but human fingerprint isn't so far dug that we don't know everything on the planet. And then that opens up an entire another doorway of secret societies and all that other fun shit. Hidden things from the world 101.
Do you think there's a secret society of Sasquatch?
No.
Maybe that's who's running shit.
That'd be some funny shit. Yeah, Bob got it. He put 500 on it. Shit. The poll of what the fuck is going on in the world.
That would be that explain a few things. What was the one place they have the fucking conspiracy shit there, the woods and shit. Northern California.
Oh god.
Builder fucking what is it? I forget. Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove, one of them spots and shit.
Oh yeah.
Fucking that'd be funny. Powers that be or Sasquatch.
Start some random cult. No, I was referring to fucking the I don't know, alien or not aliens existing, but things that were existing, but government doesn't want you to know about them. Like what's in the ocean.
Hey,
But yeah.
they said that there is most definitely history of red-haired giants. Who's to say that they weren't Sasquatch?
There's so many things that they could be. I mean, I love folklore and stuff like that, you know. There's so many similarities with a lot of different things that what if a lot of the shit did actually exist one time and they just turned it into stories so we were more okay with it? Because they're finding giant skeletons and everything else like that. So maybe they turned it all into stories to make us think it was fictional, but in all, it actually did exist. Who knows?
Oh shit! What about aliens? You think the aliens are gonna use cannabis when they get here, or did they bring us cannabis?
Dude, I have gone on so many stoned out fucking explorations. If you ever looked at Gaia TV, how they talk about how there's a moon station thing, like there's an entire ecosystem on the moon. And then there's another side of it where there's like sending slavery or human slaves to Mars. But cannabis related, yeah, I've seen some crazy videos about how cannabis might have come from aliens because they wanted us to have it because it teaches us so much. And yeah, it's some funny shit. So
ancient astronaut theorists say yes. Yeah,
stoner ramblings of I wonder this
them
weird
guys can fucking put aliens anywhere. Ancient aliens can put aliens, tie aliens to everything.
Well, there's actual people that there's actual somebody brought up a video about how humans aren't made for this planet. We sunburn, stuff like that. Some crazy stuff. So it's like, okay, that ties into aliens put everything here.
I'm in on that boat. You notice how everything else kind of fucking synergizes and we don't?
Uh-huh.
We're kind of the fucking thumb of the planet.
That's some fucked up shit, ain't it?
It is. I think what you're saying is very possible.
You never know. The only way we're ever gonna know is when it's all over and the guy that put his money down on that little square to go, what the fuck, it wins.
Do you think we'll grow weed on Mars when we get there?
I'm fairly convinced that if some people pulled their head out of their ass, they could figure out ways to do it. If they're not already capable of it, yeah.
As we talked about earlier, it is bioremediator. Why can't it fucking help terraform Mars? Be an awesome place when we get there.
It would be a huge fucking project, that's for sure. I would hope one person have dreads and do the peace sign in one of those pictures of them happening or doing it. Just the old 1970s peace to the world kind of thing. That'd be awesome.
See all of Elon Musk all hippied out, fucking dreadlocks and shit when we get there.
After the one person is like, if your dad dressed as a hippie trying to look cool in front of your hippie friends, Elon Musk dressed as hippie.
He's gonna design the self-cultivating cannabis plant.
Yeah.
Forget the car. He left the car idea.
Uh-huh.
He might
the self-smoking cannabis plant, man. You don't even got to smoke your own weed anymore. Those robots do it for you. Elon Musk robots do it for you. He visually puts it in your head through that microchip that he wants to put in there. You don't even got to smoke your weed. You think you're doing it. Adjust your happiness. Yeah, adjust your happiness with your iPhone.
Is that what you're saying? You're just gonna be meta high at some point? Shit.
I don't know. Isn't that what Elon Musk wants everybody to do? Put a microchip in their head? Maybe that's an app that we could download in our head. Set my happiness.
You think at that point there'll still be people growing shitty weed? Even though you could digitally grow it perfect. Shit, there'll still be somebody fucking growing mints.
Still trying to get fucking top dollar.
It's funny.
He's trying to pass it off to his buddies. No, man, this is what it is. I swear. Oh shit!
All blurry and shit, not quite developed and shit.
Right.
You missing a couple ones and zeros on that button, dude.
Right out, brother. All right, well.
What was that, Yoda?
I said it has been a blast talking to you. I'm gonna get going if you don't mind, just for a minute. If you want to start up that weed nerd channel, whatever. That way everybody else can make fun of me.
Right on. Well, I do appreciate you coming and hanging out, man. I know I've kind of tried to been luring you on for some time now from the grocery store, and I'm glad you finally had time to made time to have come on and hang out. I greatly appreciate it. A couple of things before you go. The Zoom link that I sent you this evening is your Zoom link for the Weed Nerd World. Anytime you want to come and hang out, that's how you get there from now on. No invitations at this point, unless it's going to be for a second episode from here on out. It's strictly come as you want to into the Weed Nerd World. Anytime you see it in the title, you are more than welcome to come hang out. The other thing I'd like to get from you before you go is a silly thing I call the soundbite. Hopefully you caught it once or twice. Basically, my version of it would be, hey, this is Eagle, and I'm on fucking Talkin Shit with Eagle, episode 626. You put anything you want before or after that, as long as it includes that in it. I am ready for your soundbite right now, Mr. Yoda.
You make me fuck this up, man. God damn it. This is Dank Yoda on Eagle episode 626. What else am I supposed to say? Talking shit. Having a great time doing whatever.
That was the rough version of it. That's all you needed right there.
You put me on the spot. I was nervous.
I'll give you a take two. You want to take two?
No, I'm good, man.
All right.
Like I said, I like funny shit. I like funny shit.
Me too.
I hope I got to make somebody chuckle.
Oh, it made me chuckle. So, hell yeah. With that being said, again, man, thank you so much for your time hanging out, man. I greatly appreciate you telling your story and help buying the community another night hanging out. Hopefully you do take me up on that offer and fucking coming out and hanging out in the weed nerd world at some point, my friend.
Right on, brother. Probably, man. I'm always hanging out, just chilling. Fucking most of the time I'm right on my chores pretty quick so I can get them done and get everybody nice and happy. That way if the girls wake up or there's shit to be done. Always shit to be done in a big house, so always moving.
Well,
I swear to God, I watch a bunch of episodes and I have shit I want to say. Like, I got shit to say to Smiley. I want to say hi to Bingus and all these other guys that always shout me out, you know, when I come in. But yeah, it's cool, man.
Now's your opportunity, or now, well, from now on, will be your opportunity to grab that phone, and when you see him come on and hang out with him.
Right on, brother.
So, hell yeah. So, with that being said, that does wrap up this episode 626. Another fucking fun night of hanging out. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. For those of you that aren't going to transfer over, thank you guys very much for your time. Don't forget, random acts of kindness do save lives. Don't forget to do something nice for somebody. Yoda, any shout outs before we go?
I mean, most of the guys, every normal guy, I don't know, your whole community is awesome. Most of them are fucking chill. I think I've talked with most of them on multiple times about random ass shit, so it's been cool. I'm just horrible at names, so I apologize. Now my dog has to look over everything. Is it okay? Can we come out? It's safe? Asshole. But no, I'll be back around, so.
All right, we're going to wrap this one up.